219 News Now is brought to you by the South Shore Line and by Strachan Van Til, making lives easier for 95 years.
I'm Andrew Garcia, and this is your 219 News Now. A fatal single vehicle crash occurred at the Borman Expressway near Lake Station, resulting in the death of a truck driver on Monday evening. The incident occurred at the 13-mile marker of eastbound 8094, close to the I-65 interchange. Indiana State Police reported that a gravel truck struck the median wall, causing the trailer to overturn and spill gravel across the westbound lanes. The driver was trapped inside the cab as the vehicle caught fire and the trailer crossed over into the westbound lanes. Emergency fire responders from Lake Station Fire Department extinguished the fire and found the driver in the cab. The Lake County Coroner's Office is working to confirm the driver's identity. The Portage Township School Board has voted to name its upcoming middle school building Aylesworth Middle School in honor of former Superintendent Wallace Aylesworth. The new school will replace the current Willow Creek Middle School in 2029, with construction set to begin in mid-2026. The $96.5 million capital projects plan also includes demolishing the current Aylesworth Elementary School and reconfiguring existing schools to provide more equitable class sizes. Congressman Frank Mervan is advocating for the Pay Our Troops Act to ensure that military and Coast Guard personnel continue to receive their paychecks during the government shutdown. Despite efforts to secure funding for military pay through various means, uncertainties remain regarding the availability of funds for future payroll periods as the shutdown continues. Mervan and other lawmakers are working towards bipartisan solutions to reopen the government and prevent any disruption to essential services like military pay. And in sports, after its historic victory over Oregon on Saturday, the IU football team now turns its attention to Michigan State. While Indiana expects to win its remaining 6 games, the Spartans are coming off a 38-13 loss to UCLA and will look to get back in the win column. As the voice of IU, Don Fisher, says, the Hoosiers cannot overlook anyone on their remaining schedule if they want to continue their march towards history.
Right now, it's Michigan State is all Indiana can really talk about because they're the next opponent. And Jonathan Smith's a good football coach, and they got beat last week. I'm sure they're a little bit embarrassed by the way they got beat, and Indiana's going to have to go in there, or Indiana's going to have to take care of business at home and defend the Rock Memorial Stadium in this matchup, because Michigan State's always been a tough physical football program, and that's what you're going to expect in this one.
To read up on more local news and headlines, visit jedtv.com and nwi.com. I'm Andrew Garcia, and this has been your 219 News Now.
And good morning. You're tuning into WJOB AM 1230 104.7 FM. It's That's What They Said with Verlie Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adrianna Alvarez. Good morning to my co-host.
Morning.
Adrianna, do we have you on the mic? Okay, because I'm not really
There
hearing
we
him.
go.
There you are.
go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
hear
got
you either.
a whole little setup going on where I'm told do not move the tape. I'm guessing that's how our mic will work.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're going to start right out with what we normally do here in WJOB, and that's give you an update on traffic and weather. So, Adrianna, take it away.
we'll do so. Currently, right now, let's take a look at our traffic. Traffic in the Northwest region is looking pretty good. We don't have any heavy traffic, but we do have entrance ramp closed due to construction on the Bishop Ford. I-94 east at 130th Street on exit 68. And that's causing a bit of traffic right there on the connector from the Bishop Ford to Dan Ryan. We also have slow traffic on the exit ramp on the Stevenson I-55 north before I-94, and also a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder on the Dan Ryan east at I-290. So we're going to have a little bit of traffic there. Yep, it's right there east at I-290 Eisenhower Expressway. So a little slow traffic on the Stevenson, just right there at Cicero Avenue going north. We have a disabled vehicle in center lane blocked. Eisenhower I-290 west at Holman Avenue exit 26B. We also have let's see here, just slow traffic on the Tri-States going north, so that may cause a little bit of traffic later on. Let's take a look at our weather for today. Currently right now at the Track and Van Til Studios, it is 63 degrees. Today we're seeing highs of 68 degrees, lows of 55 degrees. Moving forward into the rest of the week, on Wednesday, highs of 61, lows of 51, morning mist and clearing with mostly cloudy weather. And then on Thursday, highs of 72, lows of 57, pleasant sun and clouds. We're getting back in those 70-degree weathers, hopefully for the last time.
Fantastic. Well, Adrianna, I'm kind of loving these clocks that we have, but it's just interesting that we have so many of them now.
Yes, we have two. Let me zoom out of my camera. Oh, there you go. There, so you can see this one that's right there, and then I will zoom into the one that's on my camera here.
Okay, so
we had somebody make these clocks for us here. And they were put up, I believe, on Wednesday and or Thursday. So they were put up one of the days. But yeah, we have some brand new clocks, so we are able to see what time it is, so people can remind us to take our station breaks.
Okay, so I'm looking at this 1, 2, 3, and I guess
That's great, but I'm wondering why is it there?
So you
That's
can
where,
see it,
yeah,
Michelle.
that's where our producers.
Because there's one
wanted
right
to
here
put
on the
them.
front of our desk.
Oh,
Right, yes.
I didn't even notice that when I came in.
Yes.
And I will say, like with clocks like these, I don't know why it's just like a me thing. The ticking of the clocks just drive me insane because I'm so used to the ones that are in the
Digital.
schools that are digital, and like even if the clocks are in schools, they just move constantly. There's no clicking to it. So like in the studio, my biggest fear is just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be able to hear just like click, click, click on the mics.
Well, great job for the person who made these clocks. They're very unique.
Yeah, very cool.
Custom clocks here at WJOB.
Nice.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So, ladies, of course, we are here every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. We invite our listeners to not only tune in, to call in at 219-845-1100. And we understand we do have a caller waiting. So we're not, rather than keep our caller waiting, we'll take the caller and then we'll get to some of our hot topics for the day. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, ladies. How are you today?
Fine, how are
Fantastic.
you?
How are you?
All righty. Been listening to the replays throughout the day, the last couple weeks, and I hear this clip come up of people talking about how they don't like to call in or listen to certain days of the week because of certain hosts or whatever. And I'm not trying to start a rivalry or anything between anybody's shows. Everybody's show has their own unique flavor, and that's a good thing. What I'm wondering is, why would you listen to talk radio unless you want to hear multiple opinions?
Exactly.
Hey, that's one way to look at it.
But
I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry, caller.
that's all right. I mean, there's Republican view, and then there's the Democrat view, and everything. And what we need to think about is that it's like I used to always call in and say, where the problem with this country is we need more front porches. We need to know what's going on out there, what everybody's thinking, and what everybody's opinion is, so we can all get along better and understand where each others are coming from.
Right. No, I agree with you. It's interesting to hear other opinions. It really is, and that's why, to me, I don't do a podcast, because I like to hear the callers' opinions. I like interaction between myself, my co-hosts, the callers. I think that's what makes the radio shows interesting. I
mean, there's not a host on this station that I agree with any of them 100%, and that's great. That's what the man upstairs gave us, the choice of free will and our own mind. There's times where I don't agree with what you ladies are saying. There's times where I don't agree with what other people are saying, but I get to learn what other people are thinking, and that's more than one side to every story.
Sure. I would agree with that. I mean, what do we think? Do we think is it by having I don't know, having so much choice? I don't know how we've become this way. I
guess that being able to tune into a radio show, and if you don't like what they're saying, being able to turn it off and not listen. I mean, that's your right. So if people don't listen on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Mondays or whatever day of the week they choose not to listen, it's so interesting that they can quote everything that was said on those days.
Yeah.
So apparently they may not like to listen, but they just can't help themselves, and they do listen. So,
especially with local radio. I mean, local radio is supposed to be community. And that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be thinking as a community, not as what can I do to get over on him or what can I do to get over on her.
Right.
It's just it's supposed to be community.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know. I think it's kind of changed from those days of the homey type of WJOB and Bargain Bonanza and
Yeah.
I think that radio has gotten so divided. This whole world has gotten so divided that you tune in to people who share your same opinion. And I mean, I listen to other stations, and if you listen to how some of the hosts get and the callers get, it's so much vitriol.
Vitriol, yeah.
It really is. And sadly, it's not about community like it might have been back in the 60s and 70s. It's just changed. But I appreciate you calling in and sharing your opinion this morning.
Yes, good way to kick it off, man.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.
Perfect way to start the morning.
There we go.
Peace on WJOB. Peace in the Middle East. Peace around the world.
Sure.
It's a love fest. Well, thank God. I have to say that the hostages were released in Israel and Palestine. The thousands are coming home, and so
I didn't realize that there were still thousands that were still as hostages.
Yes, Israel had about 2,000 hostages that they were holding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about Hamas? How many were they still holding?
Hamas had about 20. They had some bodies of those who had died.
Okay.
Hopefully they died of natural causes and not because they were, killed. But there were those that were killed in the initial siege. And sadly, lives were lost. But hopefully, moving forward, peace in the Middle East. My former pastor, Father Pat Gaza, was growing a beard from the time he went to Rome until, peace would come in the Middle East. And sadly, he passed away a few months ago. And when I went to view his body, he no longer had the beard. And I was like, oh, Father Mitchell, what happened to Father Pat's beard? There's no peace in the Middle East yet. And he's like, oh, well, his cancer and the treatment had, caused his hair to fall out. But if he were alive today, he would be able to cut that beard because there is peace in the Middle East. So
is that the story you're sticking with? Or?
That's the story I'm sticking with, Michelle. But, of course, what's your opinion?
It won't make it till the second round.
Okay.
Of course it's not. It's already fallen apart. People are, I'm not signing this. I'm not doing that. Come on now, y'all.
So you're taking the odds that peace will not last in the Middle East.
Nope, absolutely not.
Okay, Adriana, any opinion on that?
She's busy being back there.
Well, she's having to do so many jobs as far as producing.
Yeah, no.
Traffic,
When I
weather,
heard
callers.
I heard something going on about what was happening in the Middle East, but I wasn't too sure on like everything that, because with all the stuff that's happening currently right now, with
Yeah,
the
you got
government
a little-
shutdown, you have to search for it.
Sure.
And I haven't been up to date, so I knew that they had, like you said, that there were hostages, and that it was going around that in 24 hours these hostages will be released, and
We hope.
And they
Yeah,
were.
and they were.
Okay.
They were.
they were released. And now from there, like how you said, there was more hostages than what were released, correct? Are there still hostages over
No,
there? Or
all the
no?
hostages have
they're-
now been released.
So they're all released.
And the bodies of those that they still had.
Okay, so they're released. That's something that we all can collectively together
Right.
come together and say that that is a very good thing, that is something that needed to be done, and hopefully that everybody got back safe. Now, my thing with that is the hostages that were released, were they citizens like of the Middle East? Were they U.S. citizens, or were they a mix of everything?
I think that most of them were Israeli,
Yeah.
citizens,
Israeli
as
citizens.
far as those that were released by Hamas.
Okay.
And then those that were released by Israel were I guess they would call them enemy combatants, people who they took hostage during the war.
Okay, see that's one thing where that wasn't really put in the news media. So I had no clue like who were the exact hostages, why they were holding them, what was kind of, is it the correct term to say like what was the ransom in a sense?
Ransom was peace, probably.
Peace,
I
yeah.
mean, throughout the whole period, there were times that hostages were released, but not on the full scale that they were released yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, see, I wasn't really up to date. I'm happy they were released and that we're moving towards peace. I don't know how long it will last. I hope that it does last, though. It's bad to say, and I feel that when going through this society, if you're optimistic or you look for the best, everybody's going to say, well, you're looking through rose-colored glasses. And majority of the time, they are correct, because one thing happens and the next thing happens. So as I said, I like to look through the rose-colored glasses and think that this is something that will continue and be optimistic.
And I share your view. I would like to not even have to say that it's rose-colored glasses. I would be hopeful that it would last. I'm not trying to take away from Donald Trump, President Trump, what he was able to accomplish. I don't know that he is deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize, but as he was trying to covet. But even the winners won. He was willing to take that from them. But I'm not going to be negative in that regard, because I'm hopeful that this peace will last. But I'm hoping he can come back. He just came back, and we can get some peace over there in the Senate and Congress between the Republicans and the Democrats. We can't even bring the government. We can broker peace in the Middle East, but we can't broker peace right in this country.
Well, so the whole thing with Donald Trump and this Nobel Peace Prize, I've seen a narrative, and I want to know if it's accurate to say that this is a valid point. The only reason why Trump really wants this Nobel Peace Prize is because Obama got it, and he can't stand Obama. Is that the only reason why Obama got it 1 year in office? Trump is doing 2 terms, and he's over here salty because he doesn't have one yet, even though, sir, you have people protesting you. I don't think that qualifies as Nobel Peace, because they're not protesting with you, they're protesting against you.
So does one accomplishment gain you the highest award for peace in the world?
I wouldn't agree with that, but we live in the upside down. down is up is down.
So maybe if it lasts, maybe he'll get it next year.
You know what? If it lasts and he can get through whatever phases and the whole year until next year they award the prize, I will gladly eat my hat and say that he should get the Nobel Prize.
Mm-hmm.
If. And I do not have high hopes that that's going to happen.
So let me ask you this, because if he's able to initially bring about peace in the Middle East, and through no fault of his own, 6 months down the road, everything falls apart, is that his fault? Because he was able to accomplish peace. Is he the one that's responsible for making sure that peace lasts?
No, I think at that point it's it could be that, okay, peace is restored in this country, a neighboring country that we helped. Once we're done, peace is established. Okay, maybe here are resources, funding, because I feel that is one thing that we'll always have money for, regardless if we are in a shutdown, regardless of how much debt we're in, that they will give money to other countries, regardless if it's for war, if it's for anything, like resources, regardless of how you categorize
We're
them.
sending 200 troops.
Yeah, we're sending resources over there.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps that maybe if you leave the country with certain resources and then you say, okay, here's some stuff to help you retain your peace. Is that the country's now responsibility to keep the peace? Because it shouldn't be, okay, well, we can't keep peace unless you're always here, like, watching us, like a babysitter.
I would imagine in the agreement there are terms that, we're here for X amount of time. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would imagine, I would hope that they would say, okay, we're going to hang out here for X amount of time, and then y'all are on your own.
Well, that's what happened in other countries where wars have broken out and where the United States has been involved. But let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue with the discussion and take your phone calls.
Okay.
And welcome back to That's What They Said with Verlie Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adrianna Alvarez. That's the name of the show, folks. You can't rename it because it's always about what they said. And we're taking full ownership of it.
Absolutely.
Welcome back from the break. You're listening to WJOB AM 1230, 104.7 FM, Hammond, Indiana. Adrianna, do you have an update on traffic and weather for us?
I do, yes. So currently, let's take a look at our traffic. So we still got that exit ramp closure, and I feel that's going to cause a lot of disturbance right there on the connector to the Dan Ryan and Bishop Ford, as we're seeing a big slowdown there. So keep that in mind as you are headed into the city. We have a bit of a slowdown on the Stevenson going north before I-94, right there by South Central Avenue, and that's due to slow traffic on an exit ramp up there. We still got slow traffic on the Tri-State going north, so that can cause some traffic there on the Eisenhower going east, going west. We see that traffic going east on the ramp from US 45 and also going west right there by Austin Boulevard. So we're going to have a bit of a slowdown in those areas. But the Chicago Skyways and Lakeshore Drive is looking pretty good. So we're not seeing tons of heavy traffic. 80 going east and going west is looking good as well. Let's take a look at our weather for today. So currently right now at the Strack and Van Til Studios, it is 64 degrees. Today we're seeing highs of 68 and lows of 55. Mostly cloudy, and tonight we may have a couple of showers in the late. So then now let's take a look moving forward into the week. On Wednesday, highs of 61, lows of 51, morning mist clearing and mostly cloudy. And then on Thursday, highs of 72 degrees and lows of 54. That's all for your traffic and weather. And we also have 2 callers waiting on the line.
Well, Michelle, how about we go right to the callers?
Okay. Works for me.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good,
Hi,
Mike.
how are
How
you?
you doing?
You know, just like you said, you know, it's not a peace deal. It's a ceasefire. Okay? And like you said, President Trump or the administration needs to stay over here and get the peace deal with both sides and get the government from and open it back up instead of waste their time over in another country.
Hold on one second, Mike. So we have a speaker on here in the studio. That's what's giving us an echo. So I don't know where that speaker is coming from.
Sorry, we just discovered that. I did not hear
Yes.
that with our last caller.
Right. So we have to figure that out. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, you know, it's like, it's not a peace deal, it's a ceasefire. And like I say, Michelle, like you said, it ain't gonna last.
Thank you.
It ain't gonna last because how much city they blew up. Oh no, you know, I kind of watched a little bit of it and I kind of laughed at it because I think our president wasted his time and our money to go over that country to try to yakety-yak with them people, stay over here and get this Congress and get our place, take care of our country and get our government back opened up. Because all he's doing over there is wasting our time. He could be back over here sitting in that office and making both sides get together and solve our problem, not other people's problems. You know, I'm upset with Trump because he should stay here and not go anywhere. They should not go anywhere until our government's opened back up.
Sure.
You know, that's about all I got to say. I mean, there's so much garbage going on in this world, you know, it's like, you know.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing what you had to say. Sadly, we had an accident on 8094 westbound last night where a trucker was killed.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, I mean, you know, now like yesterday when I was bringing a student back from testing, 3 times we had cars. Verlie, you know that parking lot garage over there by Century Bank? That's in Gary on 5th Avenue?
Century Bank, yes.
Yeah, did you see that?
Gary
Yes, Gary.
Okay,
They got all the paint out there and like spray painted gray. It looks so nice.
Yeah, the city has been on a huge graffiti removal plan. And so, yeah, that is wonderful.
But, you know, yesterday I was talking because I go up and down 4th and 5th Avenue with our trucks to test students. And, you know, many, many years ago, a long time ago, you go down Gary on 5th Avenue past the old school that's abandoned down there. all them like hotel apartments that are like 5 or 6 floors down there.
You're talking about Horace Mann.
Yeah, well, all them apartments years ago used to look la-di-da-da. But if I love I go through Gary all the time. I won't be scared. I love it. Well, that's where I was born, so I'm not going to stay away from my city. But the thing is if you drive down there, if you look at those apartments and you see the windows, almost all these apartments have brand new windows in there because they probably fixed it all up. And I mean, you look at, I've been going down now. Now I see another place is starting to fix something up. They're taking their time a little bit, but I see slowly progress down 4th. I can't wait until 4th and 5th Avenue look like back in the 80s and 90s, 70s when I was in Gary,
Right. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your call.
Yeah, you guys and everybody out there in the radio station, everybody out there, just have a wonderful and safe day, okay?
Stay safe out there.
Love to Deb. Take care. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I enjoy listening every week.
Thank you. I was just about to say, if you could up the...
Okay.
I was having a little trouble hearing. Sorry about
we
that.
had you a little too low there.
Yes, sir.
So I was saying I enjoy listening every week, although I don't agree with a lot of your positions, but I still enjoy listening to your opinions. But I'm asking for a little clarification.
Okay.
What is your opinion on illegal immigration? Are you for it or against it? Illegal immigration now. I'm listening.
Go ahead, Michelle.
No,
I'm going to share mine.
No, I was going to let you go first because we're
going to let Adrianna go first, and then I will.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
Because I'm always very opinionated, so I rather.
I have a lot of opinions on it. Now, I don't. It's a double-edged sword either way you look at it. My original thought of it is that nobody is illegal on stolen land. Nobody is illegal. Everybody here, at one point in time, your ancestors came here illegally to give their legacy better opportunity. So that is my first opinion. Now, I don't believe that criminals coming in illegally should dispute their business on other countries. If you want to have your criminal activity, you do that in your own country. I do not believe in how in some areas, and it's not in all areas, that they are zip tying people and they're innocent, and I don't believe in the racial profiling of immigration. And that's what's happening from my viewpoint. Everybody's going to have a different viewpoint. But it feels like as if one demographic is being targeted when you can be illegal from countries of Europe, you can be illegal from countries of Asia, from anywhere. So it just feels as if they're targeting one demographic, and that's why it's making such a big deal in this country.
Michelle?
Okay,
Sure.
now let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What should happen to people that came here seeking asylum that have been granted a hearing already and told they don't qualify? What should happen to those people? They don't qualify for asylum. That's what the court has decided.
So I have one question before that one. That is due process, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure. I always hear due process. Just making sure that that's the same thing. So if that is the case, then they should be given a humane way of, in a sense, getting sent back to their country.
Sure.
They should not have to, in a sense, and it's very dramatized, I know, being locked in cages sent back. It's very dramatized, but we're seeing those, I don't want to say concentration camps, because that's what they look like to me. We're seeing that in the U.S., so I can only imagine what is in other countries. But they should be given a humane way back. Now, I'm not saying send them on a first-class jet back to wherever their country is.
Right.
But send them back to the correct country from the correct place that they were at, if not somewhere close of a major city. And from there, give them the resources that if they do want to come into this country legally, that they have that, and that it's not years long in the waiting.
So you're saying if someone comes here illegally, okay, by whatever means, whether you came, overstayed a visa or you crossed the border or swam the river, whatever. They should be granted an asylum hearing. And if it's determined that they don't qualify, they should be put up at the Four Seasons Hotel at taxpayers' expense. And then a humane way.
I never heard her say that.
I just told you that they shouldn't be sent back through like first class. They shouldn't be given the 4 stars. I did not say that. I said that they should be sent back in a humane way. Whether that is a plane ride, where if it's overseas, or if you can drive.
They get plane rides every single day.
Yeah. Or if they drive, okay, then there is a bus that sends you back. But I didn't say that they should be given 5-star treatment. So.
Well, who should pay for this? Who should pay for all of this?
Well, now that's a good question. Now, how everybody's saying that taxpayers is paying for all of these things. Honestly, I'd rather have my tax dollars go towards something that's going to be a humane process, opposed to giving it to billionaires and giving them tax.
Okay, let me ask you this. How much more in tax money would you be willing to pay out of your paycheck every week, so that these people have a humane way of going back to their country?
Here's the
thing. Give me a dollar amount.
This is not question and answer. You asked a question. We're all going to respond to that answer. So we're not going to put we're not grilling Adrianna. She's not trying to get her due process here. Okay. So Michelle, your opinion.
My opinion is, does that count for the people that come in to the country and do our farm work? Because I was just reading, in fact, it was last night, that one of the states where they aren't even growing cantaloupes, they have not planted cantaloupes, because guess what? No one to harvest them. So does that mean that the big national farmers, they can't bring people up to harvest our fruit and other foods and stuff, or whatever they're supposed to be, or whatever they do? And so we're already seeing that. We're not going to have melons.
Well, you're confusing. You're confusing.
But they have a special visa for those farm workers to come up and to work. But still.
Oh, okay.
So he's asking about people who come up here illegally. Okay.
No, you're right though. I lived in Michigan, which has a huge agricultural industry.
Right.
And they bring up people every year to work the blueberry fields, the apple harvest, and they're legal. Right. And these farmers spend a lot of money getting these people work permits. It is not cheap. You have to show that their housing's adequate. You have to show that they're going to be taken care of. They have medical care. It's expensive.
It's not as expensive if they had to hire Americans and pay union wages. It's not that expensive.
Okay, it's another issue, okay? But what I'm saying is, my point being, they don't want to stay here. They want to come here, work, and go home. And that's fine. And you know what? I think we confuse those people with the people that come here illegally and try to, game the system, whether it be their gang members. Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was starting to jump in.
Well, I'm saying, you know what? To me, it's real simple, okay? If you came here under the Biden administration, which had a wide open border, back you go. No questions asked, okay? If you came here previous to that, and you've been here, you've been working, you've been paying taxes, okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, continue your thought before.
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead,
Adrianna. I'm saying, if you came here before Biden came in,
we got that already.
And you've been working, okay, fine. You can stay here with a work permit, give you a work permit. You're not going to get citizenship. You were never going to get citizenship because you came into this country illegally. I'm sorry. You jumped to the head of the line. But if you stay here and you're working, okay, you can stay here. But with the understanding, if you commit a felony, if you are convicted of a felony, back you're going.
Okay, so
how hard is that?
One thing, you said that if they came before Biden, they can stay, but if you came during Biden, you cannot stay, correct?
That's what he said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How come that if you came before the 4 years, you're good to stay, but if you came during those 4 years, you're not good to stay? Why is that?
Because for 4 years we had no border. Okay.
Stop.
None.
But
people streamed here.
But
you had caravans. You had
caravans, people.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let me. I want to understand this thought process, because during Trump's first term, all we heard was build the wall, correct? And he wanted to build a wall by Mexico. And that was the main thing that we heard throughout his entire presidency, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But he had no concern of the Canadian border, just Mexico's border. Now,
Well, where's the vast majority of people coming from? They're coming from the south. They're not coming from the north. And it's not even Mexico. It's Guatemala. It's Central America. It's Venezuela. That's north. That's not south.
Caravans.
but,
That's
but
south,
we,
I'm sorry.
there's still two borders to be concerned with.
Yes.
Now, with the whole thing of people coming in from the south, people have been immigrating here for years. So I don't understand the thought process of if you came during just a few 4 years opposed to our entire American history, just because of those 4 years you should be sent back. That's the thing that's not clicking with me.
If Joe Biden wouldn't have allowed God knows how many millions of people into this country illegally the last 4 years, we might not even be having this conversation. But he did.
Okay. Now, I understand that people go back towards Obama's presidency and says that he was the main person to deport people. He deported so many people. Why are people angry at Trump for deporting people? I'm seeing that narrative. Now, I'm not familiar with previous presidents, so I may need a little help on this one because I'm only 21 years old. So, you are going to tell me that Biden is the only president in our entire U.S. history that has, like you said, done open borders in a sense and have brought in caravans of individuals.
Caravans.
That he's the only president during this term. So just because of his 4 years, that's going to erase the entire rest of the U.S. history, that no other president has done what you are saying.
We have never had an influx of illegals like we did when Joe Biden was
Caravans,
president.
people.
All right, so here's the
I'm
thing.
sorry.
Here's the thing.
Caravans.
Here is the thing. Before
Give me the thing.
Biden even became the president, Donald Trump came down an escalator talking about Mexicans and immigration. Okay? So apparently people were coming in way before Biden came into office.
Not in those numbers they
And
weren't.
you don't know how many numbers came in because it
Yeah,
wasn't
they
in the
weren't even counting
caravans
them.
like you saw. There are people here who are being picked up who have been here for many, many years and being deported. Okay?
Why
So
are
if
they
you-
being deported?
Because they are being
They're here
picked up
illegally.
by ICE. But here's the
Because
point.
they're here illegally. They're here
If
illegally.
the process was more humane and people didn't have to wait decades to bring a spouse over or a relative over, if we hadn't gone around the world creating such havoc that people had to escape their homelands to ensure safety, then we wouldn't have this situation. People would be very happy to stay where they're from. Do you think Venezuelans would have rather come and endure a winter in Chicago than in their homeland?
Let me tell you something. Venezuela has free elections. Those people elected those officials, okay? That's their problem. Venezuela has some of the biggest resources, natural resources in the world, more oil than almost anywhere. They elected those people. And you know what? You're hearing from the half of the people that don't like that government down there. The other half, they seem to be fine with it. That's called democracy. Hey, you don't like what's going on in your country. Get some people together and do something about it.
What
Don't
country
come
did
running
your
over
family
here.
come from?
Sicily.
Okay, somehow they didn't like it over there, and they came over here, right?
Yeah, because you know what?
'Cause what?
The Moors conquered our civilization. You owe me a check for reparations.
Oh, excuse me, am I a Moor?
How's that? How's that,
Am I
Verlie?
a Moor? Thank
You
you
owe
for
me
your
a check.
call. You'll get it in the mail.
Checks in
Oh,
the mail.
do we still have mail? The government shut down. I guess the post office is not part of that. Am I a
hung up.
Moor?
But okay,
Apparently.
so
Man, I thought my family was from Italy. Oh, that would be the Moors. Hannibal took over with elephants.
can I have the opinions of you two lovely ladies of this call? And because
Let me tell you something. I have empathy for people who come to another country seeking asylum, seeking a better way of life, seeking a way to support their family, their loved ones, being able to send money back home from working jobs where they are not only abused and underpaid,
Yeah.
but are willing to do the work that most Americans are not. Okay? So I have empathy for immigrants. I do not like the inhumane way they are being treated, being picked up off the streets, picked up at schools, picked up at home, picked up at the grocery store. I do not like it. I do not support it. I do not support what ICE is doing. I applaud the people who are standing up to it and saying, we will not allow it.
It's wait, Michelle, go ahead before I.
No, I'm just I was thinking about a conversation of me being mad on the internet the other day. I had a gentleman, and I can't remember off the top of my head right now what post. Or no, actually, I do remember. It was our story on the protest in East Chicago.
And that's what
Yeah.
definitely want to bring up. A Purdue student started that.
Right. And a Hispanic gentleman led off with the comment, well, if they weren't here illegally, they wouldn't have a problem, or, you know, some nonsense like that. And I'm looking at his name, and, you know, my response, and, you know, because I getting worse in my old age, I was like, you know, with a name like that, you know, may the odds be ever in your favor. And so this guy went back and forth, you know, well, I was born here and my mom was born here. I'm like, do you think that matter? Or, you know, other people pointed out that doesn't matter right now. You know, and I'm just like, sir, people, they don't have a, you know, or at least we don't have it yet. They don't have, you know, the laser gun to, you know, discover whether you're, you know, legal or illegal, you know, by looking at you. They're grabbing people indiscriminately.
Next thing you know, we're going to have to get babies are going to be born and they're going to put a chip inside them to determine that they were born in this country.
So we're going back and forth, and he's like, well, I'm not scared. And I'm like, you have the money to get, because then it was like, well, okay, well, then I'll get, you know, then they release you in a few hours, and then you can sue and get your ghetto payday, was his exact quote. I'm like, oh, you have that kind of money to get a lawyer to get that ghetto payday. Is that what I'm hearing?
What is a ghetto payday?
Suing for something. Apparently, it's suing for something that you don't deserve to sue over.
Is that a new term now?
I don't know. I'd never heard it before, but, you know, okay. So, and he's like, you know, well, you could get picked up for hanging out with illegals. And I'm thinking, sir, I'm going to get picked up for other things than just, you know, being.
I'll get picked up for defending.
Yeah. That's what picked me up for helping to support some, for harboring one.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was just, and then I had another person say to me, well, you know, with a name like Quinn, they could send you back. I'm like, y'all.
So where, Ireland or?
Yeah, to Ireland.
Oh my goodness. So here, let me ask you this, because I was looking at some of the sites. Jesse Gomez over in East Chicago posted about the protest. Vanessa Hernandez on the council, Orange, posted. People posted, and some of the comments were so hateful about immigrations and the immigrants that are here. And one person said, I guess they had some Mexican flags flying out there, and they're saying, well, how are you waving a flag for a country you don't want to be sent back to? So tell me your thoughts on that comment that someone made. Adrianna?
When it comes to that, and I plan to be at the protest this Saturday in Chicago. And I see both. It's a double-edged sword.
And that's a No Kings protest.
That is a No Kings protest.
Right.
I plan to be there, and I want to ask people that are there why they are protesting, for what.
So are you wearing a press pass and doing interviews while you're there?
I will not be wearing a press pass because I don't have. I think you need some sort of special license for that.
No, you don't.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well,
Jed can give you a press pass. I have one.
Something like that. I'll ask him. But I want to go, and I want to ask individuals while protesting when it is. I would hope that it is a safe non-violent, peaceful protest. And I want to ask individuals, why are you there? And I will ask the individuals that have the American flags, that have Mexico flags, and that are, well, we have peace in the Middle East now, but I'm sure people are still going to advocate for to stop the violence in Gaza and stuff like that. I would
How about
hope,
Ukraine?
yeah, and Ukraine. So I want to ask them, why are you here? Why do you feel that protesting is going to make a difference? I want to ask them and go from there. Now, what I plan to do is, I see people that they have the Mexico flags, they have American flags, they have flags from the Middle East, and they're protesting. I look at it as they are proud of their heritage, and they should not be chastised for being Hispanic, for being Middle Eastern, for being Indian, for being European. They shouldn't be chastised for that. They should not have to hide their heritage. And we saw that people are having to hide their heritage the entire month of September into October and into November, because September is Hispanic Heritage Month. Yet all of these events were canceled, and they haven't been rescheduled because people were so afraid to go outside their houses, and they are so even more. Going to these protests, I don't plan on holding an American flag upside down or holding an American flag at all. I don't plan on holding a flag from Mexico. Instead, I choose to show my heritage through different forms, through colors, and whether that be wearing red, white, and green, okay. But also, for that, when it comes to this whole immigration thing, it's, as we said, your family came to the United States for better opportunity for you.
Right.
I have family members, and they've told me the stories that they've escaped war coming here. And others, they were told, hey, there's jobs in America. There's no jobs right now where we're from, in the little village that we're from. We need to make our way over to America.
They came to the steel mills.
And
They
it was
came for
different
a number of reasons.
because right when you get to the border, you sign some papers. Okay, here's your green card. I have my great-grandfather's green card still. I'm sure my family from Poland and Austria still have their green cards. And the thing with that is that how I look at it is that my great-grandparents, my ancestors, did not come here to watch their legacy fight for the rights that they thought they already gave me. And it's one thing that people are like, oh, well, you're illegal. Why do you care about the immigrants? Because I see my family in them. I see my history. I see my ancestors. If I stand idly by, I'm not doing anything to help them. And if nobody's going to help them, who will?
Exactly. Exactly. And
So-
that's the whole point, you bringing up about your legacy, your pride in the country, that you're an American, but you have pride in the country that your family is from, that your Mexican heritage. And there's nothing wrong with waving the flag of the country you want to show your heritage of. That previous caller that talked about Sicily and why his family left, his family probably left in the late 18 or early 1900s. The Moors invaded Italy before 1000 AD. So his country was invaded by Moors in the 700, the year 700. So that was a big blatant lie to tell why his country came here. Because they would have come here before Christopher Columbus even discovered America.
It's looking at it, and it's one of those things where you want to make. I always thought that the American dream was that there's freedom and opportunity. That's how I always saw the American dream as. Now, people are going to have their different variations. Some people say that the American dream is a husband, wife, loving, doting wife, children, and a white picket fence. That's the American dream. Okay, if that's the American dream for you, sure. But somebody's American dream is not having to look over their shoulder every time they walk outside their house.
Yeah.
And we're not displaying that as a country. And standing up for those who are wrongfully taken by ICE, I feel that you are standing up for the freedom in your country as well as the diversity of your country. Because if we didn't have any diversity in our country wouldn't work at all.
What does the Statue of Liberty say? France should take it back. You know,
Yeah.
they really should. It says nothing about a passport, a visa, or any type of
Nope.
customs and immigration control. Good morning. Let's take a caller.
We have two.
We're coming to the top of the hour. We do have to take a break. So do you want to take the break first or take the caller?
We can take the caller.
All right. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning,
Morning.
Ron.
How you all doing?
Good.
How are you?
All right, it's always good to hear you all.
Thank you.
Let me just say that I think, first of all, I want to applaud Tom McDermott. I guess that's kind of odd coming from Ryan Matlock. But from him basically saying, ICE, pretty much, you're not going to come here and take over. We don't have the kind of stuff that, and ICE is nobody other than the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. He tells them what to do. These people, they don't want to go in there and grab these people. They don't know. And I just heard the other day, if you don't speak English, then you going back. You know, that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, these people come over here, and they have children. So are you going to have to send the children back too? The children are born in this country. So you going to separate them from their parents? I'm just saying it's terrible things. And I have to say, people say, there he go again, to my Trump. Well, he's over the FBI, he's over everything. And right now, these people, now you go sitting by, you need to go to that casino in Vegas. And you know who working at those casinos?
Everybody.
Mostly are Mexican, and I don't think probably, and I don't know for a fact that they may be legal, but I'm told, and I talked to a certain number of people there, they say no. And I've gone to a lot of these hotels and stuff like that, and because they get those people to go in there and work and clean those rooms and everything, and they don't question it. So it's like picking and choosing, I think. It's picking and choosing. And what ICE is causing more of a problem than we had in the first place. Would you agree?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, they're creating fear among people. They're
That's
unrest in the communities, protests.
Now, I was told by a friend of mine that these people are getting they getting checks. I happen to believe that you can't get no Social Security. You know, you're not getting no check.
If you are here undocumented, you cannot get Social Security.
Okay, now
because you don't pay into it. They have.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
No, it's. I don't know if it's a special tax ID number or whatever. So yes, they do have money taken out of their check, but it does not go to Social Security. In fact, I think it goes to fund Social Security for us.
Yeah, they get taxes taken out, but they can't get a refund.
Yeah.
And when people go to I know I worked at the township. You couldn't go in there if you born in this country, and you know you can't just give people money. So I think a lot of times that's what the administration in Washington is saying. These illegal, and we giving them money, and we taking care of them, and we taking this away from you all.
No, they know better.
Right.
They absolutely know, but that's the talking point that everybody, because we all don't want to pay taxes for the things that we don't want to pay taxes for. Some people don't want to help people. So
exactly. So Ron, since we have you on the air and we're at the time for a break, I want to talk about an event that took place yesterday. I have the picture on the screen right now for our viewers to see. Share what happened in the city of Gary yesterday.
Oh, it was a great day yesterday in the city of Gary. That was the unveiling of a change in grant to Richard Gordon Hatcher Boulevard. And it happened where a lot of people, hundreds of people were there. And I just enjoyed it so much. He's well deserving of it. And I know some people say, well, you know, why is it? Well, it was supposed to take place, I think, during the Karen Freeman administration, but something they say wasn't done right. But again, we had a mayor, Eddie Milton, felt that needs to happen. And I guess along with the city council, it did happen in Vail yesterday. Hatcher the three daughters, lawyers of Richard Gordon Hatcher, and I was just so pleased to
Renee,
know that.
Rochelle and Reagan, as well as his
Reagan.
wife. We have the picture on the screen, and Mayor Melton.
Well, I see
Yeah,
Reagan and I see one of my
Rachel,
daughters.
Rachel.
Okay.
The
and
wife
so
is on the
there,
end here, Mrs.
yeah,
Thatcher.
and so I enjoyed it so much, and I came along. I would remember when I went into the war, and I voted right before I went into the war, and Richard Hatch became mayor. And so when I went there, I was talking, and so I kind of, as you know, Verlie, I travel a lot with Richard Gordon Hatch across the country. Matter of fact, me, Lamar, you always tease about it. Lamar, my good buddy, we travel with Richard Gordon Hatcher across the country, even after he left office, then Selma. And when we got down to Selma, Richard Gordon Hatcher was supposed to be at the hotel downtown where Obama was living. And so we said, Mayor Hatcher, he said, no, I want to stay with you all. He was the kind of person, I want to be with you all. I said, no, Mayor Hatcher, you got to be down there. They're not going to. So all of a sudden, it was supposed to come across that Pettis Bridge. It was coming across that bridge, and I jumped out of the car, and I went and talked to the troopers there. They said, well, let me go. I said, we have Mayor Hatcher in the car. They said, you have Mayor Hatcher in the car? I said, we know Mayor Hatcher, but we can't go. So they say the Secret Service say, right now he can't come across that bridge, and it's too dangerous to just let anybody come across the bridge. I said, he's not anybody. He's Mayor Richard Gordon Hatcher, former mayor, I should say. And, of course, so he was not able to get across that bridge, but they were able to get the award they was going to give to him. And Obama, so when Obama came, they have about 15 cars. And you never know what car he's in. And chances are it's not the lead car because of safety reasons. They make.
Let's wrap
so,
it up.
So, like I said, it was a great time yesterday. And I just think he's very deserving of that and more.
Okay.
And
well, thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate you sharing. For those who are just finding out, Grant Street, the name of Grant Street and Gary has been changed to Richard Gordon Hatcher Boulevard. So from the beginning of Gary at the toll road north all the way up to the border with Maryville, it is now Richard Hatcher Boulevard. Thank you, Ron.
Take care, man.
Adrianna, let's take a break, and then we'll come back with the continuation of our show. And welcome back to That's What They Said with Verlie Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adrianna Alvarez here on WJOB, AM 1230, 104.7 FM, Hammond, Indiana. We're here every Tuesday at 6 a.m. until 8, sometimes 8:30.
We're here till 9.
We're here till 9 today.
Are we all right?
We are here till 9.
All right. I should have gotten everyone extra large coffees.
No,
and a large hot chocolate for Adrianna. Adrianna, can you please give us an update on traffic and weather?
Yes, I can. So let's take a look right now. Let's take a look at our traffic. So, we're seeing a little bit more traffic. Here we go. So traffic in the Northwest region is looking pretty good. 80 going east and west is looking pretty good. We do got that, again, that entrance ramp closed due to construction on the Bishop Ford. And that is causing a bit of a slowdown right there on the connector to the Dan Ryan and the Bishop Ford. And going into the city, we have a bit of a slowdown on the exit ramp, Stevenson I-55 North before I-94. And that was updated about 3 minutes ago. So that's going to cause a bit of a slowdown over there. We do have some traffic on the Eisenhower Expressway going east and going west, and that's right there at Central Avenue and Austin Boulevard. That's where you're going to get the majority of your traffic. And we still got that slow traffic on the exit ramp of the Tri-States going towards the Eisenhower Expressway. And see here, we have an accident. Left center lane blocked on Kennedy I-90-94 west at Belmont Avenue, exit 45C. That was updated about 15 minutes ago, so that's going to cause that traffic there on 94 West. You're going to see that traffic start up right about at Damon Avenue, so be aware of that. And as for that, I think that is all for our traffic. Let's take a look at our weather. Currently, right now at the Strack and Van Til Studios, it is 64 degrees today. We are seeing highs of 68 and lows of 55. Mostly cloudy with a couple of showers tonight later on in the nighttime. On Wednesday, highs of 61 degrees, lows of 51 degrees. And then on Thursday, highs of 72 degrees and lows of 54 degrees. All we're seeing is some just some clear skies, nothing too crazy. We're going to have a little bit of our 70-degree weather again before we dip back into those 60s. And it may be the last time for our 70 degrees for the false fall that we are having at the moment.
Well, we'll take it any way it comes, even in December. If it's 70 degrees, then I'm more than happy. 219-845-1100 is the number to call in if you'd like to weigh in. Now, one of our listeners sent a message, and so since they didn't call in, I will not share their name. But here is their comment. Since when is another law enforcement agency not able to use property of a local agency? They weren't inside the building, only the parking lot. The police in the city aren't dealing with immigration warrants. How is it different than ISP or DEA coming in? Please explain this so I can see all viewpoints. So it's in reference to what happened in Hammond and what happened in East Chicago regarding ICE setting up in the parking lots in those two cities, those two north highly democratic cities, to start doing raids. Now, Mayor McDermott told them to go. They have a federal building right down the street. Why not have set up over at the FBI at the federal courthouse? Why set up there? East Chicago questioned their being in their parking lot for their police department as well.
Yeah, but East Chicago did acknowledge that
they don't have the right to tell.
Right.
Yeah. So they sort of they were more milder in their response.
Well, and I don't think they kicked him out.
Yeah.
I think they were there and then they weren't, and they just, or as I recall, that they were, that they saw it, or after the fact, and
so there were two different responses because the mayor of Hammond was more vocal,
right,
and adamant in his response to ICE setting
Yeah.
up in his city, where the mayor of East Chicago sort of took the stance of, well, they're here, we really can't stop them, and that sort of thing. So people on the East Chicago site were saying, well, they wanted the mayor to be more outspoken like the Mayor Hammond was. So let's talk about that, and we invite callers to call in as well. But how do you feel about ICE setting up in those local police station parking lots?
I would think that they, as a common courtesy, even if they don't have to, I would think that they would at least ask. But I want to point out something, that the executive order that Governor Braun signed back in January was that all of Indiana's law enforcement agencies, so that's ISP, IDNR, in DNR, any law enforcement agency that is affiliated with the state, they must enforce federal, Braun has signed them up for that.
And
Locally,
let's just say, for those who do not know, ISP is the Indiana State Police.
Yes.
DEA is Drug Enforcement Agency.
Yep,
So, no, there's lots of
excise.
acronyms.
Yeah,
It's,
Department of Natural Resources.
Yes.
Yeah, any of those affiliated with the state. The local level, he says, I request and encourage municipalities to do the same. He stopped at saying you must. So I would argue that municipalities such as Hammond, East Chicago, or whoever has the right to say, or they don't have to opt in.
But they made all three of those cities, and I don't know that
Pardon?
Hammond actually had that, but East Chicago, I believe, and Gary had that welcoming city
Right.
status that Todd Ricciuti, they were made to rescind.
Right, they were, but still the executive order says, I request and encourage, but it does not say, like with the state law enforcement, that you must.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would argue there's some plausible deniability there, or maybe that is not the correct term, but there is wiggle room. So Robert Garcia of East Chicago said, I'm talking with not law enforcement, with our attorneys.
And Robert Garcia is the East Chicago council
Yeah.
in the 5th District.
Yeah. He said that I want legislation that says we don't want them on city property. And I think they can.
I don't know that they can. But Adrianna,
Okay.
your thoughts?
My thoughts of immigration being here in the region is that it's now real. You can see it all on the news in cities that are very far away from you. And you can see it in Portland, Oregon. You can see it in Washington, D.C. You can see it in Chicago. But when it's right here in front of your face, it's scary. And there are some individuals that say that there is a list of people that they have that they are taking, and it's those who have overstayed their visas and or are criminals. They claim that there's a list. All right. Now, my fear with ICE being here in the region is that they're going to look at somebody and say, you look like you don't belong here, and either racially profile them or just have that spite that, okay, if I take back, and I don't know how ICE works, if it's like police where they have a quota and they say, well, if I take back so many, I'm going to get a bonus.
You get a bonus. Right?
Yeah. That's it. It could completely not work like that. I'm not trying to have somebody twist my words because
Right.
that's what they said.
Yeah.
But it's scary because yes, even if you don't look like who they're racially profiling, that doesn't stop them from coming up to you saying, "Can I see that you are a legal citizen here?" And that's a scary thought because even if you are, why should you have somebody come up to you thinking that you don't belong here?
So it's called racial profiling. And the thing about it, do you think that people who do not speak English are afraid to talk in public?
Oh yeah, they were afraid to talk in public to begin with, and now this is just added on. There are some individuals that their family members are too scared to go outside their house. They can't go grocery shopping. They can't go to work. They can't make a living for their family because they're scared that, oh, even though yes, I have all my paperwork, what if one thing's missing? What if one little tiny thing is missing and they're like, well, you're a criminal because you're staying here without the proper documentations. We're sending you back right away. Because weren't they sending people back that were legal citizens?
Do you think they're just targeting those cities of Hammond and East Chicago? You think somebody who's undocumented living in Munster or Dyer has that same fear?
I think that they are sending, that they have people all over the region. Because if it's here by Hammond, East Chicago, I think the main reason why it's kind of here, Hammond, East Chicago, maybe a little bit of Whiting, is because Lake Michigan's right there. So they're going to have a lot more because Lake Michigan is not easily. I shouldn't say easily. But if we want to have the narrative of that individuals are being carted over here and being thrown into this country illegally, what's the means that they can escape? So Lake Michigan's right there.
Yes, they're going to go into.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to worry about the lake.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know what you're saying, but
ports,
it's like
ports and all that. It's ridiculous to think of.
It's not like we have a port
ridiculous
of
to think
immigrants
of.
coming
Yeah.
in here.
It's ridiculous to think
But-
of, but I think
yeah.
just because it's like right there, and then you have
I just
that
would say the
access to
close
Chicago.
proximity to Chicago
Yeah.
would be a reason why.
And for
More
that,
so, because a lot of Venezuelans did come into the region, and it has a lot to do with the proximity of Chicago, the fact that there's housing stock in some of these northernmost cities where they can get rental. Places where a bunch can live together and
Sure.
share the expense and
But I've
find
also
some of these jobs, these seasonal
Yeah.
jobs and what have you.
I've seen people that they've posted, oh, ICE is in this area, ICE is in this area, warn your friends, family, neighbors, all that stuff. I've seen it all over. Yes, you see it more so in Hammond and in Chicago, but I've seen it happen in Munster. I've seen it happen in Highland, Cherryville, in Maryville.
So
all these
ICE has
different
been
places.
in all those areas as well.
Yes, and I see one thing that I like to see is that there are people out there that are warning individuals, and
So
though-
so that's another issue that
Yeah.
people are complaining about these apps and everything where people are sending out messages to let people know that they're in the area. Do you have a problem with that?
no.
Because you know what's interesting? The same people who have a problem with it didn't have a problem back in the day when they had radar on the call and CBs in their car saying Smokey's on the ride.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't have a problem about that
Brick
warning.
19, yeah.
About that, but they have a problem letting them know that ICE is on Ivy Street in East Chicago. Beware. But let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, ladies. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing this morning?
I had to call in. I didn't really have plans on doing it, but boy, this is a hot topic, and a few callers ago, the absolutist guy that calls and grills you guys and wants to put you on the spot. Are you for this? Are you for that? Come on, man. That's not how things work. And you could just tell by the way I'm going to use play from his playbook. By the way they talk. And by the way they describe people, the illegals, everything is illegal.
Yeah.
And I agree with Adrianna talking about, you can't be illegal on stolen land, but, I never call them illegals. They're undocumented.
That's right.
They're undocumented. And there are levels. There are levels, there are criminals that get in, but there's criminals in the White House too, so, don't tell me about criminality, and anybody can be president here, obviously.
Yeah.
And for them to be talking about, are you for this, are you for that? No, that's too simplistic an approach to a real important matter that people's lives are at stake.
Yeah, life is not black and white. We have a little diversity in this world.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Nobody wants criminals.
course not. Yeah, do you want to do this? Come on, man. Are you serious? Are you hearing yourself? And then for them to be talking this way, that there's they may not even know that they're being prejudiced, that they're prejudging people. Just by saying that, and just a little thumbnail sketch of my family and my life. My dad, he did come to this. He did cross the river with his dad and his brother. And undocumented. Okay, they worked in the fields in Texas for a while. Hard work, right? And then they heard about the mill jobs up here in EC. And so they came up here and gave us a great life, My dad showed me the value of work every day. Every day he went to work. My mom got up, made his lunch, and he went to work. So if anything, he showed me the work ethic, right?
Right.
And so he worked there, I don't know, about 30-something years. Well, one day around Christmas time, he went to work. He went to work and didn't come home because he died in an industrial accident.
Oh, my goodness.
Jesus.
J&L. It was J&L at the time. So he died in the mill. Before this, he became a citizen. And so, his blood was mixed in with all the ingredients for the metal, for the steel that was produced, okay? My mother, she came over here legally. She fixed her papers and her documents, and she became a nanny to a doctor in Chicago. And so somehow they met up, and they were in Chicago. They got married, and then they had me, and my sister. And so later on, I get married to a beautiful Mexican woman from Mexico, and I used to call her my import,
How cute.
Great life over there. From a good family, and so, but she chose me, and she chose to follow me over here, and so we were married for 34 years, And then, cancer took her, about almost 2 years ago, so, don't tell me about illegals, and oh my God, that is so simplistic, and somebody mentioned inhumane, and absolutely it is. And then, I'm fortunate to be able to talk to you because, I'm not just talking when I say, that when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my turn? You never know. You never know,
When you could be stopped on the street, you could go to the grocery store or at the gas station pumping gas, and they come up on you. Show me your papers. Yeah.
And it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And another caller called in and he kind of had a idealistic view. Well, we all need to hear each other as we can get. We're beyond that. We're beyond that now. That's not happening anymore. The sides have been chosen and stuff, and things are bad. And it just seems that this is the way they want us to be,
Right.
So it's going to be quite a while before things get settled down, if they ever do. These are scars that are in our DNA, with the African Americans as well. It's that happened a long time ago. They should just forget it. Really? No. These scars are in our DNA. So that's why we have these reactions.
Right. Well, I appreciate your call this morning. Thank you for sharing your story of your family.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you
Talk
so
to you
much.
next time.
We're going to take a break. We'll continue back. Or do we have how many callers?
We
do
have
we have
just one more.
Do you want to take the caller so they don't have to wait? Yeah, let's take the
Okay.
caller first. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Listening to Mike earlier, he was saying about taking care of things here as opposed to all these distractions. I quite agree, because every time someone gets on a plane and goes somewhere, whether it be his golf course and costs us $15 million each round, it's costing us money. Where's Doge when we need him? But,
He's trying to save his company from going under.
Well, what I don't understand with all these
That's
distractions, while we're taking care of this ceasefire, call it what it is, like someone called before. It's too many moving parts, and all those people I saw in those press conferences. If Jesus was here, he'd be flipping tables on those money changers. That's all I'm saying. But why don't we bring up Epstein all of a sudden? You don't hear that. We've been waiting for that, and all it takes is 50 votes, and they could be back in session. They could be back in session, and they don't want to do it for one of many reasons. And why, since we're talking about South America and people in South America, why isn't it out there that we spent not $20 billion to bail out Argentina, who Argentina is selling our crops to China, which now we have to bail out our farmers.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't
Now
get
we
it.
have to
I don't get
subsidize
it.
the soybean farmers because we put these tariffs on China, and now China's not refusing to buy our produce.
Yeah, China's.
But Argentina is selling them soybeans, and then we're bailing Argentina out for $20 billion.
Right.
I don't get this, but you won't see that on AON. You won't see that on news, as they call it, Newsmax. And you definitely won't see it on the station that previously used to have Tucker, because he went away after they almost had to pay $1 billion for propagating lies. But the people that get their talking points don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for weighing in. Appreciate hearing your opinion.
Yep.
We'll take that break now?
We are going to
look
take
who's
that
here.
break. And before, one thing I remember I wanted to bring it up last show, but it was just that I keep thinking about it, and it's that Tupac quote that is, they got money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. That's what it feels like right now, especially
and we
now.
can't even play it because
We can't play
number
it.
one, it probably would not.
Oh, I think I'd find a clean version. They
You
play
think
them on
so?
the radio, but it's. I know it's
We're not
copyright.
playing it.
It's copyright. I know, but still, that's just it. It's what it's feeling like, and it's reality. It's been reality for I don't know how long, but right now, as he brought up that Argentina, little thing, I can't even say little thing. It's 20 billion, 20 million.
20 billion.
20 billion.
Billies.
$20 billion.
Yeah.
Billies.
So, yeah, but we are
And
gonna
to
take a
that
break,
previous
yeah.
caller, not this one, but way back when, the one whose family left Italy in the 1700s.
The Moors. The Moors.
In
and
the
the caravan
700s. Who's looking for
Caravan
reparations.
bands.
I don't mind paying taxes to help immigrants or anyone else who is in this country in
I'd rather
need.
do that than pay for Trump's golf
And bailing
trips.
out billionaires, exactly. So let's take that break. We'll be back with That's What They Said.
Yep.
219 News Now is brought to you by the South Shore Line and by Strachan Van Til, making lives easier for 95 years.
I'm Andrew Garcia, and this is your 219 News Now. A fatal single vehicle crash occurred at the Borman Expressway near Lake Station, resulting in the death of a truck driver on Monday evening. The incident occurred at the 13-mile marker of eastbound 8094, close to the I-65 interchange. Indiana State Police reported that a gravel truck struck the median wall, causing the trailer to overturn and spill gravel across the westbound lanes. The driver was trapped inside the cab as the vehicle caught fire and the trailer crossed over into the westbound lanes. Emergency fire responders from Lake Station Fire Department extinguished the fire and found the driver in the cab. The Lake County Coroner's Office is working to confirm the driver's identity. The Portage Township School Board has voted to name its upcoming middle school building Aylesworth Middle School in honor of former Superintendent Wallace Aylesworth. The new school will replace the current Willow Creek Middle School in 2029, with construction set to begin in mid-2026. The $96.5 million capital projects plan also includes demolishing the current Aylesworth Elementary School and reconfiguring existing schools to provide more equitable class sizes. Congressman Frank Mervan is advocating for the Pay Our Troops Act to ensure that military and Coast Guard personnel continue to receive their paychecks during the government shutdown. Despite efforts to secure funding for military pay through various means, uncertainties remain regarding the availability of funds for future payroll periods as the shutdown continues. Mervan and other lawmakers are working towards bipartisan solutions to reopen the government and prevent any disruption to essential services like military pay. And in sports, after its historic victory over Oregon on Saturday, the IU football team now turns its attention to Michigan State. While Indiana expects to win its remaining 6 games, the Spartans are coming off a 38-13 loss to UCLA and will look to get back in the win column. As the voice of IU, Don Fisher, says, the Hoosiers cannot overlook anyone on their remaining schedule if they want to continue their march towards history.
Right now, it's Michigan State is all Indiana can really talk about because they're the next opponent. And Jonathan Smith's a good football coach, and they got beat last week. I'm sure they're a little bit embarrassed by the way they got beat, and Indiana's going to have to go in there, or Indiana's going to have to take care of business at home and defend the Rock Memorial Stadium in this matchup because Michigan State's always been a tough physical football program, and that's what you're going to expect in this one.
To read up on more local news and headlines, visit jedtv.com and nwi.com. I'm Andrew Garcia, and this has been your 219 News Now.
And welcome back to That's What They Said with Verlie Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adrianna Alvarez, and our special guest who's joined us this morning, the general manager, owner of WJOB. We are so honored, Jimmy Didlow. Good morning, Jim.
Thank you so much for allowing me to sit in on a brand new show. I didn't know we had that. That's what they said. Who thought of that?
Our listeners.
Because they call every show in the next, after Tuesday and say, did you hear what they said? They said that.
You know, you guys get quoted. I came in and did the show on Friday for Kuziak.
See?
And you guys got quoted 3 times.
Oh, God.
That's why we came up with that
means
name.
we're doing something right.
They actually like to quote you, Michelle Quinn.
Oh.
You got to watch out there.
You can't say anything about South Park no more.
Well, sorry, because, it's better than that. I could talk about Housewives.
All right, I love Housewives.
You would have absolutely no level of knowledge about that.
I watch Housewives constantly.
Hey, in terms of traffic.
I was going to say, yes, you want to do traffic?
Go ahead and do the weather first.
Okay, I thought you were going to tell me to do traffic. I was like, no.
I got to get it up here.
All right, so let's take a look at our weather for today. Currently, right now, at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it is 65 degrees. Today, we're seeing highs of 68 and lows of 55. Cloudy tonight with a couple of showers in the late nighttime. Moving forward into the rest of the week, on Wednesday, we're seeing highs of 61 degrees, lows of 51. Morning mist with clearing and mostly cloudy skies in the nighttime. On Thursday, seeing highs of 72 degrees and lows of 54 degrees with warmer weather, chance of an evening shower. And Thursday and Friday, we're going to see those 70-degree weather before we drop back down into the 60s. Hopefully, will be the end of our false fall.
All right.
294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. To Bishop Ford is okay, but you hit the Dan Ryan, and it's stopped the whole way. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, they're all moving along well.
Well, we want to welcome you, Jim, but we do have a caller waiting, so we're going to take our caller first, and then hear what's on your mind this morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. This is Robert from Robertsdale. I think I did speak with Jeff last week. Good morning. I just want to kind of chime in on the immigration whole thing. I kind of chimed in on it last week. I am a Latino locally here, and I know we were having a conversation about ICE being in Hammond and the mayor kicking them out. I guess I just want to add to that where if the ATF, set up shop at the Hammond PD because they discovered there was an illegal arms dealer in Hammond, would they be kicked out? If the FBI was stationed there because, there was some predators actually stationed in Hammond, would they be kicked out? Same thing, CIA, what if they were stationed there because there was a terrorist organization secretly doing bad things in Hammond, would they be kicked out? I think the media is really, like I said last time, media is definitely amplifying the division in us. Laws are being enforced, and we don't always like what we see when laws are being enforced. We can see one thing that's happening, for example, an individual being beat up by a police officer, and then we all get our phones out and film it. But we didn't see this individual punch the police officer. At one point, we can immediately jump into a judgment without having the whole thing. So I think everybody needs to tone it down, allow the process to go, and don't be offended.
Well, I think that we did bring up that topic as far as other
we started
agencies
talking about it
before our break. Other agencies coming and parking in that police department lot, and what
if someone more knowledgeable than us would like to weigh in on that, like for a police officer or something like that, I would imagine again that it is a courtesy. Why wouldn't an agency that, hey, at least give, the mayors a heads up? Hey, we're going to do this. But I don't know if they're required to do that. Again,
I don't believe they are. But I get it. The Hammond is a Democrat city, and we have a Republican administration, and there's going to be division, and the media definitely amplifies that division. We definitely have different political opinions. But when laws are being enforced, we should all be supporting that. When law enforcement, whether it's ICE, ATF, Hammond PD, Lake County Sheriffs, when laws are being enforced for our protection, whether we like how they're being enforced or not, as long as they're being enforced by the law, and we get it. There's some questionable ways that things happen by all law enforcement agencies, not just ICE, but they're being enforced. We should just stand back, watch the process, and if someone gets illegally detained, illegally arrested by, Lake County Sheriff, ICE, what have you, you go through the process. You defend yourself. You sue. You do whatever you need to do to go through the process. If you're an illegal alien here, again, the word being illegal, you committed a crime to be in this country. You overstayed your visa. You did something else to cause ICE to have your name on the list when they're coming for you. You already knew that you overstayed your visa. You came here illegally. You're already uncomfortable here. You're worried. Okay, that's going to happen. We as American citizens, there's nothing we can do literally other than protest, fight with each other, argue with each other because we have a different opinion. At the end of the day, we just have to sit back, watch, observe, and let it play out. Another administration.
Let me say this to you, Robert from Robertsdale. What I find interesting is you're using the term illegal alien, and you say that you're Hispanic, and you're using that term illegal alien.
I'm not Hispanic. I'm not Hispanic. I'm Latino.
Oh, you're
Hispanic
Latino.
sounds very demeaning to me. I don't like the way it sounds.
Of Hispanic heritage is demeaning to you. Okay,
No,
I'm sorry.
I didn't say that. I said I'm Latino. Don't put words in my mouth, Verlie. I know you're from New York. You bring that liberal mentality.
You just said that.
Here.
You just said that you're not. You don't use the term Hispanic. You find that demeaning. But most
Hispanic
people of Hispanic
sounds like a very racial word.
Okay.
I don't like the way it sounds. I'm saying me personally. You can call people whatever you want. I'm saying I like to be called Latino because it's generalized for all Latinos.
Wait,
really?
So, sir, I have a question. If you don't mind asking, you don't have to answer. From where is your family descent from?
My family is from Spain, France, and Mexico. And they did immigrate here legally in the 70s, and they stayed here. My brothers were born in Mexico, my older brothers, And they also immigrated here illegally when they immigrated here. They were brought as children illegally, but then they went through the process to become legal citizens. My siblings were toddlers when they were brought here. But my parents, when they flew here, they did fly legally, went back to get my siblings, and then they went through the process. This was years ago when things were different. I don't understand why people get very emotional and upset when laws are being enforced just because you don't agree with the political spectrum or the administration. Obama deported millions of people, millions, way more. Nobody talks about that. Nobody. It wasn't amplified by the media because obviously the media is very left-leaning. Now today, the media is literally dividing us on purpose. And if you guys focus solely on national media, you guys are going to be blinded every time. Being a Latino and being pro-law enforcement and pro-immigration enforcement doesn't make me a bad person. It just lets me know that laws are being enforced, and there's nothing wrong with that. We need to just support our law enforcement. Doesn't matter which agency they're working for.
Okay, yeah, no, the reason why I asked, like, where your family descent from was because I know that there is, depending on if you're from Spain or if you're from Mexico or one of the more southern countries, that
But why
Hispanic
would that matter,
and
Adrianna, where I'm from?
no,
None of that matters.
no, I'm just saying that the
I'm an
Latino,
American, just like you.
I understand that. What I'm trying to say is that I now know why when you said that it's a personal preference of not wanting to be called Hispanic and instead Latino. I'm just saying that I understand now because some individuals that are from Spain or other Spanish countries don't apply or like to be associated with the Hispanic term. I'm just saying I agree with you. I'm not trying to diss you on that.
No, I think you're a Latina. You have Spanish blood in you. You do.
And I know,
all
and
Mexicans do.
I'm Latina, Hispanic. I am not offended by that, but some people are. I'm just
But I
saying
think
that.
that's pushing away from the actual comment. I think, especially you, Adrianna, you're young. Open your mind. Look at independent journalists. Don't focus your mind solely on an opinion. I have friends that are left-leaning. We get along great during the sports season. We're Bears fans, Some are Cubs, some are White Sox. We talk sports. When it comes to politics, we disagree on things, but it doesn't mean that we hate each other. We'll disagree. We're still friends. I'm saying you, as a young person coming in this world, open your mind as a Latina. Know which side, religiously, as a Catholic, which side definitely supports your values. Doesn't mean that
Thank you for your call. Okay.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Hold on a second. How did that make you feel?
I was just saying that I agreed with how some people that are from Spain, from Europe, from other Spaniard countries, agree that it's Latino instead of being called Hispanic because they're different. Hispanic is.
So I'm going to give you the dictionary definition of each term. Hispanic, relating to Spain or Spanish-speaking countries, especially those of Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Latino, referring to people with roots in Latin America, a region in the Americas where Romance languages like Spanish, Portuguese, and French are spoken. So each term is very similar.
But
it's a personal preference to which you use. If I use Hispanic, I am not being derogatory or negative because most people I know would take that identity and appreciate their Spanish, Hispanic heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I hazard a guess here? I'm guessing Latino because it's, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. Which sounds more white?
Latino.
Okay. It's a personal preference, and the reason why I wanted to ask them is because some people who were are in the
that's what they said.
But the reason why I ask is because you have people that are from Mexico, from Central America, and then you have people that are from Spain, and they're two different things. Whole reason why I asked. Now the caller did go and extend that a bit further, but I just wanted to say that that's the reason why I asked. But then they made it into open your mind, and all that stuff.
How did you feel about
religion.
that lecture from a person on the
You're
right?
You're young, Adrianna.
One thing is that religion and politics, division of church and state. That's the only division I think that should be in this country, you should divide church and state. Just because it's the ideology is that, like, yes, I am a Catholic Hispanic woman. I've said that before. But just because of my religion, I'm not going to force my religion on other people, because I could be talking to somebody that may have same political viewpoints as me and not the same religious viewpoints as me. But it's like, if they are an atheist, how am I going to say, okay, well, politics and religion, yeah, we're on Jesus, we want everybody to love everyone, and I'm talking to an atheist and they're like, all right, well, I don't believe in Jesus, so what, like, your point is invalid. And there are many ways to disprove an atheist, but if you do not believe in a religion, that is your God. That is your right. I can't even say your God.
Well, the thing about it, you cannot even bring up your Catholic faith and not look at what the Pope has said about immigration.
That too.
So, you're being hypocritical if you're going to talk about your Catholic faith and not listen to what he said. But to use the term illegal alien, that term alien has been, to me, pushed this.
But
I
then,
can't even
yeah,
understand using that term.
also,
how do you use that term?
Yeah, also, I understand that it is in laws, and that is what is said. We don't say undocumented individuals, undocumented people. We say illegal aliens. I understand that that is within the paperworks and all the laws. I've read them, and I've read the bill that people are trying to say that Democrats are trying to give immigrants health care. If you read the fine print, it says it right there that they cannot obtain health care. The only ways that they can obtain health care is if they are a citizen. If we just read and if we got to highlight it for you, I'll highlight it for you.
I
but
shared
if you
everybody
just read it,
with everyone
it
the
will
list.
be there. But the fact that they're just like, open your mind, you're young.
What I laughed at that because, I mean, you're here with Verlie and with the reporter here, and
two veterans.
What's her name? What's her name?
Whatever she said.
But you host your own show on Thursday, right?
Yes.
And
I
you're
have to open my mind.
21 years old. And when I did my first shows here during drive time, I was 22 years old, and I was completely dismissed by the kind of long-standing, older listeners.
Right.
And I got miffed after a while, and I remember one time I just ripped on the air, and then I came out and I thought I was going to be fired, and Colby was just sitting there laughing. He's like, you finally stood up for yourself. And I think that, and I was like, really? I can stand up for myself? And I'm like,
I'm
really?
allowed to stand up for myself.
And then after that, when someone started ripping on me for, oh, you don't know anything, I'm like, hey, listen, pal, click. I know that much. But so, I mean, you, how does that make you feel when he's, oh, you're young, you should do this, you should do that?
I'm the only people I'm going to listen to. I should do this. I should do that. Are you my parents? Are you my boss?
Are you my mom? Yeah, exactly.
Then okay,
your co-hosts here don't even do that.
Yeah, the thing is, it's just that's what. Okay, so being exposed to politics, I'm not going to know every single thing. I'm not going to know every single law, every single bill. I'm going to have an opinion on those, but going into learning about politics and being able to vote, that's what you're going to get told all the time. Well, you need to do this, you need to do that, you should think like this, you should think like that. Yes, news media is to blame on that. How you are raised has something to do with that. After a certain point, you can make your own decisions of whether or not you are going to agree with what everybody's telling you or not, whether you're going to agree with your family and your peers. There are family members I don't agree with when it comes to politics. And I remember when it was time to vote, if you voted for Trump or if you voted for Harris, I had family members ask me, who are you going to vote for? I told them, and I told them why. And one thing that I had, and it was also in Indiana, it was, I don't remember the other person's name, it was Jennifer Ruth Green and somebody else.
Frank
Mervan, yes, okay. And it was in between that, and one of the big things that they talked about was women's reproductive rights and abortions, healthcare in that sense. And when that vote came along, I had family members, because I was not able to vote. I was not able to vote for that one. And I asked them about that because I had to start learning a little bit more. And I had a lot of family members tell me, they're like, I may not agree with certain individuals, but I will not vote for somebody that's going to tell you what to do with your body. And I was like, wait, really? Even family members who disregarded whatever the other person said, I was like, wait, are you serious? Like, yes, because it may not affect me. I'm way past that time where I'm over here going to have children, but your generation is coming up, and I'm not going to make a decision for something that's not going to affect me. I'd rather make a decision that is going to affect you. Now, regardless if you use all the resources or not, that is not my concern. What my concern is that you have those resources instead of having to go and jump states, and even if you have to, leave the country for something that should be accessible to you right here.
So, Jim, welcome this morning. You didn't know what you were walking into.
You see what I feel I feel like, what do they call that? A vestigial appendage. That like
vestigial tail.
Like your appendix. You don't need it any longer. Hey, I know there's other callers, but I appreciate all of you guys doing this, and I think that you guys are gelling together in a really important way.
Thank you.
But am I right in looking at the region right now that in America that is it coming to a head, or are we not there yet, or did it already happen?
I don't think we're there yet. I will be interested to see what happens Saturday.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm confused.
So I told Michelle Quinn and Verlie and everybody else that, like, when I very nearly got canceled with the commencement speech, I thought that was the turning point and I'm like, it can't go. It's gone a little too far. It's going to go the other way.
Nope.
And all right.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of did after it went on a couple more months. And then all of a sudden, Trump and MAGA kind of took over, and there was a huge backlash from the power of the left. And now it's kind of gone all the way the other way, where, the all three branches of government, and you can argue all four branches of government, are all kind of MAGA and Republican. And then at some point it comes back from that and maybe comes back to the center. And I don't feel it like I felt it then, that we have reached a crescendo where there will be some sort of shift or even of a coming together in America or in the region. Does that make sense? I agree with you. I don't think we're there yet.
Oh, no.
I think we have plenty to go into. What
if
do you
had
think?
said and done what you did, if the commencement was today, it would have been a whole different outcome. It wouldn't have gotten as much publicity. It would have just been another day in America.
Yes, but I just worry because, when I thought, the whole politically correct and language and all that I felt had gone too far, and you and I talked about it. And then now I wonder if it's going a little too far to, like, we can take power at all costs, and that, kind of people that are in the middle-ish, either Republicans or Democrats, they get kind of tired of that far stuff. But I don't think they're tired enough
they're
yet.
Not tired
anyways,
yet.
Hey, what do you think? See, here's the thing. A lot of people that listen don't want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Because she's the future.
They don't want. And I had this when I was 22 years old, fighting it all the time.
No, they want to sway her opinion. And one thing about it, Michelle and I, we respect her opinion.
Yep.
So we don't try to impose our opinion on her. We welcome her opinion. We want to hear what she has to say. And we don't want to change what she thinks or how she responds.
So, what is the question?
The question is, where are we headed? Where do you want us to head?
I want to not have to wonder whether or not our country is going to stay divided. because it is. Regardless or not of how you look at it, we're divided. Whether you blame it on politicians, whether you blame it on news media, or whether you blame it on certain political groups. Now, with the political groups, there's Republicans, there's Democrats. And at first, that's all I thought that there was. There's Republicans and there's Democrats. But now there's Republicans, MAGA, Libertarian, Democrats. It's a whole wide spectrum. At this point, I'd rather just say, okay, you got red, you got blue, let's mix and make purple. Because it's insane to me.
Yeah, but
because
that's you know what?
it's never going to happen. I understand that. It's that rose-colored glasses. I understand that aspect. But at one point, I would like to see it to where we as people, as Americans, regardless if your family came from this country or your family came from this country, or if your family is from the United States of America, and by that I mean Native Americans, because I think those are the individuals that are the ones that are not illegal on stolen ground. Now, we as American people, now, I know some people are going to twist the words and say, so you say American people, so that doesn't include immigrants. That includes immigrants because that's what America was built on. America was built on immigrants. We brought immigrants in to build the stuff that we were either not capable or just didn't want to do. Now, we as a whole nation come together, and if we don't like something that's in our government, we go against the government, not people against people. Because if you have the government making all their decisions, why wouldn't it make sense for the American people to come together, regardless if you are red, blue, whatever you want to be, come together and handle it with those who are in power instead of fighting with each other one-on-one and not making any difference, opposed to making a difference going to your elected officials.
See what you created?
Let's take a phone call.
Yeah, too. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Jed, you have that look on your face when two dogs sniff each other's rear end right before they do it. That Robert caller, after he was done, the look on your face, that man needs a show. He's exactly right in what he's saying. That he had, and his parents came over and did it the right way. And he has a problem with people doing it illegally. And we forgot about Lake and Riley. We forgot about that woman in Lowell. Such disrespect. Jed, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. But, like, again, I just want to tell Adrianna that number 18, that was my motocross number. Wear it well. Thank you.
Bad, Jed. Bad. Hey.
Oh, okay. That was my jacket. I was like, what?
Tangentially, if we could talk about this here, I just looked this up here. Immigration and deportation at Ellis Island. We're going to talk about doing it the right way.
Let's talk about the right way.
Okay? So this is an article that I'm reading from PBS. Between 1892 and 1954, more than 12 million immigrants passed through the U.S. immigration portal at Ellis Island, enshrining it as an icon of America's welcome. That story is well known, but Ellis was also a place of detainment and deportation, and often heartbreaking counterpoint to the joy and relief of coming to America. So, Preservation Magazine, I don't want to take up all the reading here. New arrivals were processed quickly. In the registry room, public health service doctors looked to see if any of them wheezed, coughed, shuffled, or limped.
Or were pregnant.
Okay. Children were asked their names to make sure they weren't deaf or dumb. Toddlers were taken from their mother's arms and made to walk. As the line moved forward, doctors had only a few seconds to check each immigrant for 60 symptoms of disease. Of primary concern were cholera, favus, which is scalp and nail fungus, tuberculosis, insanity, epilepsy, and mental impairments. The disease most feared was trachoma, a highly contagious eye infection that could lead to blindness and death. Once registered, immigrants were free to enter the New World and start their new lives. But if they were sick, they spent days, weeks, even months in a warren of rooms.
In the infirmary.
Uh-huh.
Can I make a joke, or am I
Yeah,
not
no,
able
you
to?
could, sure.
You know, forever, and my buddy Billy Baker's listening, and a couple of I have had what's known as runner's toe.
Okay.
So it's a toe fungus.
They would have kept you out of the country.
Yep.
I can't
Get out.
It's a big toe.
Get out.
They wouldn't have let you in.
You're out.
And now, honestly, now that I've started swimming, it's gone away.
Okay.
Because the chlorine is
Yeah.
in it, but I could not. It's from running and athleticism and that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I went to my cousin who's a foot doctor. He's like, dude, I've tried to get rid of this. You're just never going to go away. I wouldn't have been able to get in with that toe fungus.
Get you some Vicks Vapor Rub. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning. Hey, as a business owner who invests his money in America, you aren't going to believe this, but I think I have something pro-Biden. But first, I just want to say, can we all please put things aside and celebrate life itself? I just want to say happy birthday to George Floyd and Charlie Kirk, both born 20 years apart, and they're to be celebrated today. I guess that one's a little bit too much for the kids, huh? Okay, so back to the pro-Biden thing. I want a blue view from you guys. So in 2020, when Biden was put into office, the average salary was $86,000. 70,000 of these government employees that we pay taxes to, they were millionaires in government. But check this out. By December of 2024, there were 155,000 millionaires. As a taxpayer, I have to ask you guys, how did all these people make that much more money with only an average of $86,000 salaries?
I could take that one.
I was say,
a lot of times,
Please, somebody, I want to know. I want to know where my tax money went.
Well, a lot of times, like here, I don't make any money. My wife makes money, and
Right.
we do okay.
But
I
we're
mean,
talking
if you-
about the government.
I know, but if you're in a
Sorry,
if
go
you're
ahead,
in
yeah.
a two-person household and one person works for the government and makes $87,000, who knows what the other person's making?
Exactly, and a lot of business
Okay, even
owners
if you
are
cut
able to
that
make
in
money.
half, even if you cut that in half, what do you think the odds are? You're a sports guy, Jim. What do you think the odds are that people just in Congress became that many more millionaires? I mean, I know
Good
guys in business all day long. I talk to Fortune 500 companies, and none of those guys are becoming millionaires. They're still, they're still working hard downtown when they're getting basically almost mugged on the way to work. But how did all the government people make that much money? That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I mean, you could make just your opinion and say, hey, I think people in government make too much money, or we need less people in
But this is
government.
fact.
But the actual explanation for that is, I think you guys brought it up, and that is that there's so many simplistic ways of looking at things. Oh, X then Y. Well, that's not the case. You don't know how many people have inherited money that have bought a 4-unit and then bought an 8-unit or
But that
12-unit.
many?
Are we? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, are we talking legislators? Or are we talking the average government worker?
Well, that's the thing. You're going to have to go look. That's why I'm asking you guys if you heard about it, because I guess Doge put out all the paperwork yesterday. And that's why I was wondering if anybody heard about it, because that's what everybody's running to investigate. There's just tons of records, I guess, that people made all this money and they became millionaires within 4 years. I mean, I was investing in cryptocurrency when it first came out, and I'm still not a millionaire.
Yeah,
And
I'm not
those guys
seeing
did it in
anything
4
about
years.
any Doge papers here.
Yeah.
Just because you're not
people
seeing
are
it doesn't
able
mean it's not out there.
There's a number of reasons why people could be making a lot of money. A lot of those people
Can
who
we
are
talk
in
about it next
government
week?
work, a lot of the people who are in
Right.
government work, a lot of them started in the military, so they retire from the military, they get pensions from the military. Then they go and they get a government job, they work through the civil servants levels to get to the top level. I think, what is it, 8 or 9, something like that. So their income increases. They might retire from that job and have that income. And then they might become a private contractor where they're making income from private contracts. They may have purchased properties along the way, made investments along the way. And so they were able to
While
increase
they're in Congress?
I thought you were talking about government workers. Are we talking about congressmen?
No,
or are we
I'm talking, Congress is part of it. Some of Congress is part of it. That's what the big thing is. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that.
Yeah, you
There's
did.
congressional people
You
that
said
have become
government
millionaires.
workers, and you
Oh,
talked
I'm
about
sorry, I'm
Doge.
mentioning it now.
Because, see, Doge
well,
did
I'm mentioning it now.
Doge did
I'm
not.
mentioning it now.
Doge did not go into Congress and the Senate and make any changes, okay? They went to government workers, they went to contractors and different departments, and that's where those changes were made. They didn't change what
Nancy
the
Pelosi
senators
didn't
were
make
making.
all that money? But
Those
Nancy
were from
Pelosi
her
made millions.
investments.
Well, I mean, but that's just
Right,
it. You could
that's what
say
we're trying to
you could
trace
say
down.
you could say your opinion is that people in government are making too much money, or they're using government to make a lot of money, which seems to be okay right now. And but to take some sort of stat or some sort of situation, I mean, there are so many variables that go into that, and you know that.
Well, we're going to find them all. Yeah, we're going to find them all out. That's why I'm asking you guys, or at least alerting you to it, because I mean, if anybody's blue on this panel, they might have to defend it. So I'm just being a Paul Revere here. I'm just trying to say, I'm not making any opinion. I'm not saying if you really go back and listen to what I just said, I'm just asking how this happened.
I like how you said that. I'm just being a Paul Revere.
Yeah,
that's pretty
Yeah,
good. All right,
I
hey,
mean, that's all I've been ever trying to be. Is Paul
you
Revere.
do a good job at it. You said something good the other day. You go, I feel bad for everybody.
I do.
Please don't
It's
feel bad for
insane,
me.
And I'm just. Oh, I
right.
don't. You are a true cool person. I
Yeah,
know you are,
thank
and
you.
you bring
Thank
it. So
you.
you guys
I
are
don't
all
want anyone
cool,
to ever feel
and I
bad for me.
appreciate the conversation.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much.
lot.
There's enough-
Hey, I'm gonna
You guys
head
got a
out.
great conversation.
Thank you. I'm gonna head out, but I wanna once again thank you guys for doing what you do here. And I just wonder, Verlie, I sat on the tarmac for 2 hours the other day.
Aw.
And, we're thinking of taking a trip, and the wife's like, man, I'm not, and evidently I'm like, I mean.
Yeah, you don't want to do that now.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's, honestly, I think that if anybody has leverage over stopping the government shutdown, it's air traffic
It'll be
controllers.
them again. Yep.
It'll be them again. And because people like me come back, and I've talked about it 7-8 times on the air, how miffed I was just sitting there making record time, and they took off from some small airport, and then we couldn't land, and then sorry, you're all
you're
tangled
fine.
up.
You're fine.
And what do you think is going to happen? I mean,
Well, we know the air traffic controller history under Reagan.
Right.
And when he dismissed them all, and Donald Trump came out complaining about DEI when the crash happened in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So if I was an air traffic controller, I would be thinking like, hey, you know what? Y'all disrespect me to start with. You're not paying me.
Yep.
And
Bye.
I'm sick. I got the flu.
And now I guess Sean Duffy's response is, oh, well, now we're going to take off the mandatory retirement cap. So if somebody wants to be, an air traffic controller for longer, they can do that.
Exactly. And maybe that black guy who's been working in that job for 20-some years actually is there because he knows what he's doing and he's highly qualified to do that.
Right.
Or that female who's been doing that job for 25 years deserves to be there because she knows what she's doing, and she didn't get that job just because she's a woman or because he's black.
Hey,
right.
Thank you.
Respect the job.
Jed's
folks.
like, I'm out.
I gotta zoom
gotta
here.
go.
Hey, thank you though.
Yep.
And pay all government workers. It's not their fault they're not working.
Well, think about it. I'm like, and we're looking at going somewhere kind of, just a quick
Just be
weekend.
prepared for delays.
And then I'm like, do I want delays? And then
TSA
do you
too.
want somebody that's a little miffed about not getting paid?
No, they take that job so serious.
know
There is
that.
no way that they would not do their job to the utmost,
I was gonna
regardless
say,
to the situation.
It's not going to continue all the way into Thanksgiving, and if it does, I'd be very shocked.
I don't mean that they're miffed they're going to do anything. I mean, since so many people are calling off,
exhaustion.
Now all of a sudden you got a lot of people working overtime.
Very tired. I mean, you know how stressful it is.
You ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
You ever remember that air traffic controller situation?
Yeah.
You know? Hey, I just pray that everyone's safe.
Hey,
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All
Take a
right.
break.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
we are
you,
going to
Jim.
take a break. So we will be right back. It is 8:16 a.m. You're listening to That's What They Said on WJOB 1230 a.m. 104.7 FM. We'll be right back after this break. Hold on, there is no music playing. 1 second. 1 second. There is no music playing. Don't say nothing before. We just heard his excitement. Here we go. Now here's the music.
And good morning. Welcome back to That's What They Said with Verlie Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adrianna Alvarez here on WJOB AM 1230, 104.7 FM. We're Hammond, Indiana. I got to put that in there. That's definitely our station ID. Adrianna, can we please get an update on traffic and weather?
Yes, let me pull it up right now. So currently with our traffic, we're seeing that 80 going east and west is looking pretty good. We do got a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder on the Bishop Ford. That's east at 137th Street. That was reported at 8:02 a.m. But that slowdown that was on the Bishop Ford into Dan Ryan has seemed to clear up just a little bit. So that is looking pretty good. Skyways are looking good. Lakeshore Drive is looking pretty good as well. We got slow traffic still on that exit ramp Stevenson I-55 north before I-94 on the Dan Ryan there, and that continues in to 94 going east and west. It's looking pretty heavy. We do got an accident, center lane blocked on the Kennedy I-90, 94 east at Kimball Avenue, exit 45B. That was at 7:49, and that's caused a big slowdown right there on 94 east. We still got that slowdown on the Eisenhower Expressway going east right there by... see here, Central Avenue. Slow down going west on Eisenhower, right there by Austin Boulevard. And still that slow traffic on the exit ramp, Tri-State I-294 north at I-290. And see here, but other than that, traffic's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at our weather for today. So currently right now at the Shack and Van Til Studios, it is 65 degrees. Today we are seeing highs of 68 degrees, lows of 55, with cloudy and a couple of showers later tonight. Wednesday, highs of 61, lows of 51, morning mist and clearing and mostly cloudy throughout the day. And then on Thursday, highs of 72, lows of 54, and Thursday and Friday, seeing those 70-degree weather before we move back into the low 60s. That's all for your traffic and weather.
Thank you, Adrianna.
Okay.
219-845-1100 is the number to call in if you'd like to weigh in. Michelle, go ahead, and then we'll take a call.
Okay, well, a couple of things. First of all, when I read that stuff about immigration, and I don't know if we're going to continue with that or not, but here's what I wanted to say. So, and I realized that what I read was an oversimplistic, because then, you know, depending on the political climate at the time, you know, things were put in about immigration and stuff. But when you say that our immigrants came over, you know, from 1892 to 1954, all you had to do was come over, sign your name, get checked to see if you were sick, and that was it. And you're going to try to compare that to now, where it takes how long, how much money to become a U.S. citizen?
Not only that, Michelle, most of those people, all of those people, came over on boats.
Right.
That docked at Ellis Island.
Right.
These people are traveling months and months.
Right.
And in some cases a year by foot.
Right.
Not just all caravans.
Caravans, yes.
To get here.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear caravans, and when we go into the Christmas season, you ever watch the Polar Express, and all you hear is caribous.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to think of is
caravans.
Caravans.
Well, there's actually a song, and it's a Caravan of Love. Whose song? Join the Caravan of Love. Was that OJ's or somebody?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's somebody with that song. I have to look that up. But we can't play it anyway.
Right. So yeah, this whole comparison. My parents came over the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was, and yes, I understand that you had to pay for the money to get on the boat to go, and that wasn't easy for anybody. But come on, compared to, please, some perspective. And then, since Boo is on the phone with work, but
good morning. He's
no,
not.
no,
he's not
he hasn't.
available.
I don't know if he'll get to call today because he was worried that there was going to be meetings. But he said anyone can look up the GS pay scale for, government workers. Top-end civil servants still make a fraction of what corporate people in similar roles make. Also, $80,000 a year doesn't go that far when you're in D.C., L.A., or New York City.
It doesn't go so far if you live in Indiana.
Or Chicago. So
right.
that is, and then he, I don't know if I could send you the link, and you wanna.
I can put it up. Yeah, if you send
Yeah,
me the
hold
link.
on. Let me.
We always appreciate Tucker out there for always having the facts, because you don't want to believe it from us.
No.
But you definitely got to believe it from him. And
Hold on here.
while you're doing that, Michelle, let's go to
trim
the phone
this.
lines. So we don't like to have dead air.
Right.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I usually don't call in twice, just once a time, but I have one question to ask, and then I'll let you go because maybe you and Michelle can answer it. But, okay, these undocumented migrants are coming in our country. Either they're going to try or avoid being legal citizens. I have no idea. It's their choice. But if we get passports to go to other countries, okay, can we move to another country, and do we have to go through the process of, say we want to move to Spain, do we have to go through their legal process to become a legal citizen of Spain or any other country? Or can we, you get passports to go to other countries, can you just get a passport, stay there, and say goodbye, America?
Yeah, you can actually, in some cases, people have dual citizenship. A lot of Greek people have dual citizenship. You can be born in another country, become a U.S. citizen as well, and have dual passport. Back in the day, military families, most people, if you had a baby who was born in one of our military bases, that baby could actually get dual citizenship. If back in the day, Germany and U.S. citizenship. So there are people who have left this country and given up their U.S. citizenship to become a citizen of another. I think Tina Turner did that. Did she move to Sweden or somewhere? Switzerland. So, and then there is a process. You can become a citizen of another country by going through a process.
So to answer
they do have to go through a process to move to another country, right?
Well, just like you have to go through a process to become a citizen here.
Yeah, I know. I was just curious because Ron enjoyed his vacation in Jamaica, had a passport to go over there. Now, if he decided he wanted to stay and sell the watermelons over there, does he have to go through the process legally?
Yes. And I don't know that he would want to incur the cost of shipping them over there.
I know. Okay, I'm going to let you go, but I was just curious, everybody's coming to our country and wants to try to have a better life, which I have no objections to that. Me and another person had a conversation about somebody who lived there 20 years. Okay. I'm not going to argue about anything about that, but I was just curious about what if I want to move to another country to get away from our wonderful government, how they're doing such a wonderful job for my life in America here. Maybe I go to another country and it'd be better government over there, but I'm going to let you go. And I was just curious about that, say I want to go leave and live in another
You know
country.
what, and that's your right. You can go to Canada and try and get citizenship
Sure,
there.
you can.
But most people, I like living in America. So I'm an American.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to live in any other country. I'll visit, but I'm not trying to live there. I lived in Europe. So I've been there, done that.
My feet has been in America all my life. I was born in Gary, and I've lived in Indiana all my life, and I'm going to end my life in Indiana, because I love Indiana. I love the United States, and, well, I got a lot of good stuff about Gary, me and my sister was in school with the Jacksons,
Right.
So that's why, and, I'm proud that, I wish my sister graduated from Blue Wall, but my mom and dad decided to sell a house and move to Portage. But I would have been happy to graduate from Lou Wallace, Yeah. I still got my track T-shirt because every year we got out of school, the kids would chase you, the younger ones, to try to beat you up, and that's how I got into track at Lou Wallace. Is because when I got out of school, man, I hightailed it to get home so I wouldn't.
So
get
you
beat
sound
up
like
all the way
Forrest Gump. Thank you for calling.
Take care, man.
Run, Forrest, run. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, wait, Michelle, did you have something before?
Well, no, what I was going to say
Sorry,
to the
Michelle.
gentleman. No, you're fine. Who says that Americans aren't going to different countries and, starting the citizenship process over there and, we've overstayed our welcome. We've overstayed. Who's saying that we're not doing the same thing?
Exactly. Well, Do you know how many U.S. citizens live abroad?
Yeah.
They live in countries all over the world.
Yeah.
So,
but the fact that they're are can we say that all Americans are going through the process to become a dual citizen or whatever? I mean, you think this is a uniquely people coming into America and not getting their stuff done.
Yeah. And I don't want to get it confused. That's what they said. We started out this morning, we were talking about peace in the Middle East and talking about the problems here in this country and resolving those problems. I don't want it said that I don't believe in globalization, because I believe that you can do both. I believe you can be an entity around the world and a person who is supporter of peace, supporter of third world countries that are suffering from, agricultural needs or starvation needs, so many needs around the world. I think that we can do both. I think we have the capacity to take care of our problems here in the United States of America and to be a leader around the world. So I just want to make sure that that is clear coming from my mouth.
I looked up just to see, and what I put in is, can you go to another country and live there without a visa? So there are long-term visa-free destinations for Americans. I looked them up. So indefinite stay is the Marshall Islands. This archipelago. That's what it looked like, but I was like, I don't know if that's how you say it.
That's how you say it.
This archipelago in the Pacific Ocean was a U.S. territory until the 1970s and still uses the U.S. dollar today. So there's that one up to 1 year, Albania. 6 months is Barbados, Bermuda, Canada, Jamaica, Mexico.
So Ron could only stay in Jamaica 6 months before they expel him.
Up to 4 months is Fiji and Tusania. So those are the places that are kind of flexible with the visas. And yeah, so there's that. We have one more caller.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, ladies.
Morning.
I have. I just wanted to. I don't know if you heard it on the news. It was in Chicago that they cannot prove if there were ICE agents or any sort of agents, but there was an 18-year-old girl that was snatched out of a car. She's an American citizen with an American driver's license. I don't know if you went through this.
No, we did not go through it, but definitely thank you.
Was
for
that
bringing
the
it up,
one
Dave.
where the video where they pulled the girl out of the car?
Yes, she's 18, American citizen.
Did it happen in Naperville? Where did it happen? What?
Yeah, and was held for 4 hours, and her parents had no idea where she was. And then Kristi Noem comes on because everyone had their phone out filming it. She said, "Those were not ICE agents. You don't have a right to film them."
They were not ICE agents. She was kidnapped by people in masks.
Yeah. You don't. I mean, they're unmarked vehicles, and there was other people in the vehicle, but they targeted her for some reason, and so it was racial profiling. That's what it is. Now, one thing, Michelle, I'm just going to hit a couple things really quick and let somebody else go. My grandmother came over from Hungary in 1916 on the Carpathia.
Oh, wow.
That's the ship a couple years later that saved everyone.
Oh, no, it saved the people from the Titanic. Right.
Exactly. But she had to have, it was a quota system. I know we don't like to use that word in the United States.
No.
But it was a quota system.
Yes.
Only so many people can come from each of these individual countries.
Sure.
And she had to have a sponsor that was 100% responsible for her, which was her uncle.
Right.
So she came over when she was 16, lived in New Jersey, issues happened. She met this young guy, eventually turned out to be my great-grandfather.
Cool.
And guess where they came?
Here.
To the steel mills. Exactly, from New Jersey. They heard there's a lot of jobs here. So that's how my father's side of the family, relatively recent, you could say 18 or 1916. That's my mother's came over in the early 1800s from Germany. But so it's there was a system, but it was highly regulated. There's only so much, and there was a cutoff there. So
sure, and as I was trying to say, I understand that in certain points, depending on which way the political climate was leaning, there were more regulations. Sometimes there were less, but you cannot tell me that her experience was so much harder than what people go through now. That's the point that I was trying to make. I mean, hard in its own way, but people, how many years is it now? Is it 5 or 10 years? And how are people?
It's at least 10 years. It's at least 10 years to go through the entire system.
Right.
Sure.
So, and how are you going to snag someone from court that is going to their green card appointment to do it the right way? How are you going to arrest them and send them back for doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Because of the commercials that they're playing.
I know
that if you turn yourself in and you leave voluntarily,
and people don't
then
think
you
it's
can
World War II
come
again?
back.
It's I think we all know this whole ICE thing is all political theater.
Right.
It is.
Right? And because of the fact, remember he said, Chicago's crime-ridden, it's crime-ridden. Then why aren't the ICE agents going where the crime is?
Yeah,
exactly.
They're walking around the bean.
It's political theater because they don't have the money to build the wall, to finish the wall.
No different than they did in, Mexico was going to pay for that, right?
Right.
No different than they did in Washington. These troops walked around the mall picking up garbage.
Yeah.
Did they go to the inner city where the crime is? Of course not. Of course they didn't. And so I want to finish with this. I have friends of mine that live really close to me. They purchased a home in Portugal.
Okay.
And there's a big American enclave in this one area of Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to qualify. They wanted to make sure you were affluent enough that you were not going to be a drain on their social system. And then I have another friend that lives around the corner. They own 2 homes in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And pretty much the same. As long as you're not going to be a drain to the social system, and it's a couple, and he recently got his Mexican driver's license, and it's a weird thing because you actually don't own your property.
Okay,
it's kind of it's in a trust. You own your home, but you don't own the property, and that'll always be
That's
Mexico
kind of
always
like Hawaii too.
Okay.
But the former mayor of East Chicago owned a home in Mexico too, Mayor Pastrick.
Yeah.
So
really?
yeah.
Right, yeah. So there's rules, right? We're a nation of laws. We can all go back to the ultimate Republican, Ronald Reagan. Remember what Ronald Reagan wanted to do? He wanted to give 12 million undocumented workers amnesty. Nobody wants to talk about that anymore.
No. No.
Thank you so much for your call,
lady.
Dave. As
Sure.
always,
Thanks.
appreciate hearing
Thanks,
from
sir.
you. My sister and her wife are in Portugal right now
Nice.
after leaving Spain because she's Spanish. Not Hispanic.
No, she's Latino.
So, one topic that I wanted to bring up before we still got 20 minutes, but for how people are like, we're divided in this country and what's happening with immigration, it's just law enforcement, let the law do their job, they're not being racist, all this different stuff. So one topic that's been, of course, buzzing alongside with all the political aspects is the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh.
And Bad Bunny
Bunny.
is coming in and being the headliner. And people are like, we want something American and all this stuff. And Bad Bunny's like, well, you got
He
four
is American.
months to learn Spanish.
Puerto Rican is part of America.
Yeah, so
Commonwealth.
The Turning Point USA, which was Charlie Kirk's thing,
was
saying that they are going to do an all-American halftime show that focuses on faith and all that stuff. And
so you're trying to say Bad Bunny doesn't have faith?
I guess not. But somebody released a joke one, and people thought it was the real thing.
Really?
So I'm going to show it and read it to you guys.
Excellent.
Please do. So
excellent. I can't wait.
Who do you think is on here before I say anything?
Kid Rock, Lee Greenwood.
Who's that? I'm
Ted
proud
Nugent.
to be American.
Proud to be. And they're all going to sing Proud to be an American.
All together in unison with
all of them. Yeah.
Everybody.
Like we are the
it's
world.
going to be everybody's going to have a different version. It's going to be the same song, but we're going to put our own American flavor to it.
There you go.
So let's see, who else would there be?
Michelle, you are actually knocking a lot of these out of the park here.
She knew it.
So we have, this is the flyer that was fake that came out. It's Turning Point USA with the headliner as Kid Rock,
Travis
American Halftime Show, Ted Nugent, Travis Trent, Jason Aldean, Aaron Lewis of Stand.
All
John
right, so
Rich,
let's be clear, though.
Lee Greenwood.
This is not
This is fake,
real.
but
This
this
is fake
is
because
what
what
came out.
happens is that's what they
said.
said. So once again,
Yeah.
this is fake. This is not actually the billboard
I see at
put
the
out by
bottom.
Turning Point.
So it's Aaron Lewis of the Stand, John Rich, Lee Greenwood for
well, that's what I'm seeing.
Forgetting-
Fornigato Blow.
Fornigato
I don't even know
But we
what
have
that
to be very
is.
careful about this because these people who are on this can actually.
They could probably sue them.
Yeah, so we are definitely going to
No,
put that
this is-
away.
this is fake, yes,
Yeah, because
but-
that is fake and it is not true.
it's not real.
None of them
And
have
the-
agreed to do this.
Yeah, and the thing
so,
was at
yeah.
the bottom, so that you know this is fake. It's
Yeah.
the eagle and the USA hat and the beer didn't tip you off, featuring guest appearance from Measles.
Yeah.
Yeah, measles, because measles didn't get a vaccination.
So I looked at that and I thought to myself, I'm like, I knew this was fake coming right out the gate. I knew this was fake. Everybody, this is a fake thing. But I like that Turning Point USA, they are doing their own halftime show, but this is not it. But I like that they want to feel included, that they didn't feel included with Bad Bunny's halftime show. So they want to feel included, and they want a diverse halftime show, and they want to feel equal. It's as if they are trying to instate diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
When it's beneficial to them.
So DEI works when it works for you.
When it works for you, but not for everybody else.
And you're still not going to get the viewership because everybody is going to be watching Bad Bunny so they could complain about it.
Yeah.
So
just like they did the hip hop one,
Right.
With, all the
Which was
performers.
amazing.
I thought it was fantastic.
awesome.
It's just so interesting to me that this is something, and that individuals will say, "Oh, it's not DEI. This is just a different group that wants a different halftime show." Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that when they, and I've seen it a few years ago, I don't know if they still do it now, that they do a halftime, or not halftime, a Super Bowl version in different forms. They do one on Nickelodeon for kids, and it has all the different graphics of their favorite characters.
Right.
And like how with regular football, the lines are drawn, the show to plays. They have the favorite characters coming up, and there's a little halftime show for them. Okay, cool. We got the little puppy bowl that happens before Super Bowl that everybody looks forward to. So there's something in there for everybody. Yes. But I found that so interesting. And especially with what's happening in the world right now, people want to say, "Oh, football's not being political. Why are ICE agents going to be at the Super Bowl halftime show?" I'm sorry, if immigrants don't have enough money to get all the papers work and all the process to become an American citizen, are they going to have $10,000 to spare to come to the Super Bowl?
That's not what it's about, Adrianna.
Yeah.
It's about them working out there. It's about them out there hawking the T-shirts, hawking the pendants.
Where is it being held at?
In the food. That's what they are going to do. They're going to be outside of the Super Bowl. They're going to be looking for the people who are sweeping the floors and cleaning the bathrooms. Those are the people they're going to be looking at, not the people sitting in the ends on the 50-yard line. So that's the sad part about it. People who are just trying to make a living, just trying to do a job, trying to
the
do an
jobs
honest
that
days
we're
of
not
work.
doing.
Exactly. They're the ones that are being targeted, and that's the sad thing. But until it affects their pocketbook, they will never see it. They will never see it.
Yeah, what is, I got to look up. That obviously that was a made up name. But here's something else. What happened to Mexico, or a headline in the New York Times from last month? What happened to Mexico City's food scene? Americans. As restaurants change to reflect new tastes, local reactions have ranged from fascination to fury. So we can't go anywhere without turning it American. It's like, I'm going to go to another country. I want my burger and fries, or whatever nonsense.
Yeah.
We.
Well, that's why we were always termed the ugly American.
Yeah.
Yes. So
anyway,
that's the
I
case.
know what else. What else can we talk about?
Well, we don't have that much time left.
Got about 15 minutes.
So 15 minutes
Okay.
remaining in the show. It's free for all. There's some topics that you might want to hit on. Michelle, I know you had one verse regarding Highland. Did you want to hit that topic real quick? Adrianna, anything on your mind? Let's get
That
them
was
out.
the only thing I had.
Well,
No,
definitely that was a good one.
The thing in Highland, I will stick a pin in it because it's not finished yet.
Okay.
But I can say that last week the St. John thing with the water is officially terminated. So all of that sound and fury signifying nothing. They the town of St. John went ahead and we cannot, we are not doing this property, and we're not, we had to return the water rights to Junior's company.
Okay.
Because
so
we
water
cannot
rights.
have them.
So when we're talking about Junior, we're talking about Junior Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump Jr.
Who was here in July.
Yes.
And so, it was very, very anticlimactic. And the residents, while happy that this happened, they know it's not over because the developer, he's going to get that property. And again, the farmers out there and the landowners out there, they know that their time living on their palatial, their properties with land, they know it's coming to an end because the kids, they don't want to farm.
Mm-hmm.
The farmers, are well aware, and they know it's going to be developed. Whether they're holding out as long as they can, making their last stand, or if they're trying to at least, develop responsibly, which, that's a matter of opinion, what responsible development is. 982 units I would argue that that's a lot. Sorry, my phone is making noises.
Well, we're not hearing those noises.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't hear
Right.
you.
Oh, okay, good.
But those units, they're trying to target a certain demographic of people, ex-Chicagoans, Chicago exiles.
Or suburbs, that want to, come over and not pay, the exorbitant taxes in Illinois. But anyway, we need more housing, and I don't know if Nate. I don't know. Do you know Nate Reeder? He runs this page, Strong Towns, Illiana, or he's one. Anyway, he's a big proponent of housing. And Nate, I'm not saying that we don't need housing. I'm just talking about what St. John, because we're kind of going back and forth about this. He's like, the NIMBYs, and they don't want it in their backyard. And I'm like, I don't know if it's all about that, but I guess the question is, what do you do when you have people who went out there and bought their tract of land? How do you regulate that, or how do you tell them that they are wrong? Just like if they want to sell it for whatever purpose they want to sell it for, how do you police that? It's an interesting topic, and it's way above my pay grade. But anyway,
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
But they ended up, not doing it, and all is well. But St. John, unlike Cedar Lake, St. John does not have a water problem.
Okay.
That is for
All
sure.
right. So we got that straight, folks.
Yep.
For those
John is
people who are
great.
interested, the mayor of Gary, Indiana, this evening will be having a community forum at IU. It starts at 5:30.
I will actually be there.
Oh, so I will see you there.
Yep.
Once again, yesterday, Grant Street was renamed Richard Gordon Hatcher
That's going to be
Boulevard.
weird. That's going to be weird going. I've known it as Grant for all these years.
Right.
Now calling it Hatcher.
Well, it's just like Virginia Street was changed to Malcolm X.
Yep.
And now Grant Street has been changed. The highway signs will eventually be changed as well whenever the state gets around to doing that. From the Indiana Toll Road, I-90, to 8094 on the Borman Expressway.
I did have something fun I was looking at. Over here, let me go back in my email.
Anything you want to add, Adrianna?
No, what I just realized right now is that I gotta clean that TV because I just saw the smudge that's on the TV and that's driving. I just saw it. And I'm glad I didn't see it earlier because I would have been.
Oh, the
driving
smudge
me
right
insane.
there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and there's a glare on it, and it's because our graphic is a bit darker, so you can see the smudge on that. But no, I think it's just now with everything going on and. Actually, no, I do have something. Did you guys see that J.D. Vance was doing interviews and they cut him off?
George Stephanopoulos cut him straight off.
And another person also cut him off as
well.
well.
Oh, did they really? I didn't hear about the other one.
I think I have it in here, but they cut him off. And I saw
That sounds like us.
I
and
saw
certain
it
callers.
because they asked him different things and he was trying to twist it.
Yeah.
And he also had said that the radical left in his statements. And for individuals
Us
that
radical lefties.
are saying why there's
everyone needs a boogeyman.
I don't think anybody can deny now that there is no diversity in our country because we see that this is the radical left. Okay, so let me see here. I have both. Yeah, the left-wing rabbits, is to quote him.
Oh,
did he say rabbits
Yep.
or rabbit?
Rabbit hole. Rabbit hole.
Oh, rabbit
Yeah.
hole. Okay.
So yes, George Stephanopoulos.
Did he say rabbit because of Bad Bunny? You think?
Maybe.
Is that why he used that term?
Probably, but basically George Stephanopoulos. It's hard because I see his last name, and it makes me think of
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus
Yeah.
and Sesame Street. But he said, I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Holman accepted the $50,000 as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024. You did not answer the question. Thank you for your time. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person, I'm trying to find it here. I saw it. It was a woman that she cut him off. Let me try and find it. But he got cut off by two people that I saw. Let me see here. J.D. Vance getting cut off. That's basically what it is now.
Yeah.
But I saw that, and different people. Honestly, when I see him speak, it's interesting. Because I'm getting complete sentences from him, but not from our president and all that. But let's see here. The other one was on NBC News. That one, it doesn't have her name on here. I have it right here. It's on Meet the Press.
Kristen Walker.
Yes, and actually it was by more people now that I'm seeing. He was also cut off on CBS as well.
Okay.
So on Face of the Nation, when asked about the Trump administration mistakenly laying off hundreds of CDC scientists on Friday, including some involved with the federal measles response, and then telling them Saturday that wasn't the case, Vice President J.D. Vance says, I want to assure the American people that the frontline healthcare workers, the people who monitor measles, Ebola, and other infectious diseases, those people are still on the job. Trying very hard to figure out how to ensure those people get a paycheck, of course, because we want them to be happy and healthy. We want them to be able to do their jobs as well, he adds. The government shutdown inevitably leads to some chaos. We are figuring out how to take money from areas and give it to other areas. And he was cut off by the woman that was interviewing him on CBS as well. So he's getting cut off all these different places. Now, some individuals may say, let the man speak. Why are we cutting him off? And other people are saying, well, the moment you tell a blatant lie, they should cut you off.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on him getting cut off from different news medias?
I'm glad to see the news media is finally doing its job.
Do you see the Pope even spoke about journalism?
Yeah.
I mean, really? So, yeah, it's about time. And that's what they said.
Yep.
And I want to thank Adrianna because our time is coming quickly to an end for our logo here.
Yeah, it was very cute.
Because for those of you who are unfamiliar with this device on the bottom of the screen, that's an old transistor radio.
I made a bunch of different ones. I was like, I like that one. And I agree with you guys. It's clean. It's to the point, and also
it's retro.
It's retro, and it's very just out there. That's what they said.
Yep.
That's what they said.
So here's a couple things.
we got a caller,
Speaking
too.
of
We're going to take the
measles-
caller real quick
Oh.
because our time is coming to a quickly to an end. Good morning, caller.
Hello. Yeah. Do you guys agree with? Good morning. Do you guys agree with the Democrats in shutting down the government?
If that were true, maybe, but it's not. You guys have all three branches of the government. It is on you. Yes, it is.
Well,
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
we go back to Schumer back in March, and the thing that shutting down the government did was give Donald Trump carte blanche, and that's what's really disturbing because now he has complete control of everything, and he can give and take, and Don giveth and Don taketh away, and blessed be the name of Don. But I thought it was a bonehead move on the part of Hakeem and those guys. I really don't understand why they would give Donald Trump those kind of powers.
I don't like that they gave him the powers that he has now to get rid of people and do everything. In some ways, I think it would have been better to let everyone see the fallout from letting them not close the government down. But I expected them to see the fallout of electing Donald Trump, and if they don't see that, then they would never have seen it from not shutting down the government. So.
Well, yeah, pursuant to those Supreme Court rulings, he's got carte blanche.
Yeah.
And he's ruling by executive order. It's insane. And the unitary theory of governance, you're going to see this Supreme Court term, they're going to allow more and more an increase in executive authority. And then you're going to see something.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the pushback's going to come if we're not in session, technically speaking, right now. You don't need Congress.
No.
You got Donald Trump.
Yep. Nope. But I think either way, you were going to have Donald Trump, and you were going to have Congress bowing down to his will. And
True enough. But the point is, you have some resistance, some basis for resistance. Now,
but this is a resistance,
at
George. I mean, what's happening right now is a resistance.
Where?
The resistance is the fact that the Democrats are not allowing his budget to go through.
Well, all he's got to do is declare emergency. That's it, and he can get it. He can probably get what they were going to do with the continuing resolution, and he'll get most, if not all, of that
but
on the basis of an emergency.
But the constituents were very upset when Schumer sided last time and kept the government from shutting down.
Yep.
And what's happening is the Democratic Party has to show their constituents that they will stand up and fight, and that's what they're doing.
There's fights and there's fights,
Well, okay, and
just because they're upset doesn't mean that. It's just because they were upset back in March doesn't make them right. Doesn't mean it was the best strategy. I still say they got mad at Schumer, and he was, we still had it. We still had a hand in the game. Now we've got nothing. You got to look at those emergency powers that he can invoke. Those are scary, and he'll do it. Anyway, I just wanted to see what your opinion was.
Sorry, didn't mean to yell at you, George. It took me a minute, but
we came out guns a-blazing.
Yeah, guns a-blazing. I did not mean to do that.
Okay.
I was about to say, to tangentially, talking about measles, at least 153 students from 2 schools in South Carolina are under quarantine for 21 days due to measles exposures. State health officials announced. Woo! Measles coming back. Also, the other thing that I found kind of interesting this morning, Indiana Public Access Chief issues first advisory opinions. So, Indiana Capital Chronicle is reporting this. Indiana's top public access official has issued her first 2 advisory opinions and resolved more than 30 complaints for 2025 so far. And so, going down here, there was something of note here that...
So are these for FOIA requests?
Yep. Yep. So, the article goes on to explain, what one particular case was. Ruby opined that Indiana law doesn't require governments to create records. They don't have to satisfy record requests. Or they don't have to satisfy record requests. She also defended the redactions, noting statute protects the utility customers' confidential personal information. Okay, talking about, the documents or lack thereof that were sent, and then open door dispute. Anyway, she's back in action, so FOIA requests, maybe we'll get responses when we actually file them.
Okay,
or
and you being a journalist, I'm sure are filing them all the time from every
sometimes, yes,
entity that you cover. But we want to thank our listeners and viewers from tuning in.
Everybody great. Yes, everybody was great. Sorry. Again, didn't mean to yell at George.
He can take it. George has thick skin.
Okay, there was something else, speaking of media.
And it's 9 o'clock, so
okay,
let's
wrap
it
it up. Did y'all see that, our Secretary of War, Pete Kegstand, they had that journalist, we have to sign this.
They have to sign that agreement.
Did you see, oddly enough, who will not sign it?
Yes.
Newsmax.
Newsmax, yes.
I'm dipped in unpleasantness. I'm surprised that they said no.
What I would say to people who think that compliance, as far as what's going on in this country right now with ICE and other entities, if you think it's all right and you should just sit back and let them do their job, well, that's a stance a lot of people took during Hitler's stance.
Look how that turned
out. And the
out.
Gestapo and coming in and neighbors, letting the police know when there were people hiding in homes or basements or hidden rooms. If you're okay with that, then sadly, history does repeat itself, folks. Whether it's a gas chamber or alligator Alcatraz, it's not right. It's not right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
And remember, that's what they said.
Yep, we're going to be here on Tuesdays.
Yep.
And if you also with our YouTube, I know that as we wrap up, with our YouTube, we do have our chats. So if there are any topics that you want us to discuss, go ahead and send us a message in the chat. I send whatever messages we get through to Michelle and Verlie. And then if you guys want to just pull up the YouTube, we also have the chats accessible to you as well. But we are live on YouTube as well as the radio waves. These clips get cut up, and I try my best to get them cut up as soon as possible, so that way you hear them while we are not on the air. So yeah, just go from there. And I already know when I go talk to Jim right now, he's probably going to say, "Make That's What They Said" a podcast.
Oh God, no way.
and put all the audios through.
I think you could put the one excerpt where the caller was trying to be patronizing to you.
We love all the callers, but yeah,
just listen with an open mind, Adrianna.
Yeah,
with an open mind.
With an open mind, I'll start a
you're
podcast.
Yeah.
So
your opinions are not formed.
All right, so you ladies want to wrap us up?
Yep.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back next Tuesday, 6 a.m. for That's What They Said.
Yep.
Until then.
Take care, guys.